good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another DP show alongside here with my good buddy, Mr. Phil Busardo. How you doing, Phil?
I'm doing good. I'm doing really good. I'm doing.
You're not doing
really
as good as me because today.
Why not as good as you?
Today, I had a unicorn.
I know why.
I had a unicorn today. I had my haircut today. I went to the hairdressers, put on a mask, had my temperature taken. She probed me as well too. I kind of enjoy that. And then I sat down in the chair with a mask on and got probably the best haircut of my life. I feel like I lost 2 pounds during this haircut. That's how much hair I had.
Well, so there's a whole procedure. You got to actually. Was she wearing a mask too?
By state regulation in Georgia, she had to wear a mask. She was wearing gloves. She has to sanitize everything in between every customer. She can't have more than one customer at the store. And then so I had to before I entered the salon, I had to put on my mask, and then she took my temperature outside. Then I had to fill out a form that says this is my name. This was my temperature today. I realize I don't hold the salon responsible if I get the corona and all that. This is all state regulation on top of everything that they have to do, as cosmetologists. But it was worth it. I would gladly do it.
Can I ask you this question though?
Sure.
So when was the last time you had a haircut?
Exactly 2 months and 4 days.
2 months and 4 days. So did that allow some time for the hair on the back of your head to grow and fill in at all? Or does that still look the way it does?
It looks the same way.
Oh, okay.
There's nothing I can do about that. There's nothing I can do about it.
Actually, there is something that you could do about it, and we'll explore that the next time we're actually physically together again.
Okay. Oh, you have something for me? It's a little surprise for me.
I have something for you. Yes.
That is fantastic. All right. Yes. Well, welcome to the DP show. Opinions, of course, from both ends. This is the Greek end, and the Italian end is sitting right next to me. Our telephone lines are 215-383-5752. If you would be so kind as to press 1 when you hear the British lady speaking. That way I can see you on my switchboard and then bring you into the conversation with any questions or comments. And of course, our chat is being monitored by our good friend, Mr. Bill Tarling, that also does the advocacy posts on tasteyourjuice.com. So if you make a comment, if you are shy, don't want to call in, Bill is going to relay them to me, and I'll make sure that we answer your question at some point during tonight. Okay? Did I cover everything, Mr. Phil?
I think you did.
Let's go ahead.
You did.
Let's go ahead and introduce our guest today. Very, very excited for our guest today. Alex has been a warrior for the vape industry, and he's written some really, really good articles. We've kind of developed a relationship online through Twitter in the last 6 months. And since his field has been now specifically with Vice News, dealing with tobacco and dealing with vapor, I thought he'd be a great person to bring on. Not as a vapor, representative, but somebody that's in the media constantly and kind of how he sees things. And we have to be objective, right, Phil? We always talk about this. Yeah, go ahead.
Hold on, time for just 1 second before we bring Alex in. You said you've created an online relationship with Alex?
Yeah, don't be jealous. Don't be jealous. It's not that kind of relationship.
Seriously,
it's a friendly.
Let me silence my phone here.
It's a friendly.
What does that mean exactly?
It's a friendly. Just a friendly relationship. Just a friendly relationship. Okay. Questions, I got answers, and vice versa. That's how it goes.
Okay.
Don't get jealous. Don't get jealous. Everything's okay. We're still tight, buddy. You're still my number one boo.
All right.
But anyway,
I am a one-man man.
Yes. Well, I wish I could say the same thing about women. All right, let's go ahead and introduce our guest, of course, Mr. Alex Norcia from Vice. Hey, Alex, welcome to the show.
Hey guys, how are you?
We're doing great, man. Very, very excited to have you on there and on the DP show. Before we get started with the vapor, of course, industry news. For the people that don't know you, I want to ask everybody to do me a favor right now. Just pause whatever you're doing, go on Twitter, and give this man a follow. I mean, he should have the entire vape advocacy force on Twitter following him at Alex Norcia. It's right there underneath his name. So if you can do me that favor today, Alex Norcia on Twitter. Alex,
and no problem. As soon as he writes a negative vape article, you can just go ahead and delete that. Alex Norcia. But in the meantime, right now, follow the man, and look at some of his articles too, because they're very, very interesting, and we're going to be talking about them tonight. Hi, Alex.
Hello. How are you?
Absolutely, Alex. How did you get into journalism?
How did I get into journalism?
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of fell into it, I guess, in a way. I'd gone to college kind of with dreams of writing at least, and then I graduated and really had no direction whatsoever. And then I kind of stumbled around until I got a job at Vice magazine, basically copy editing the print magazine.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did that for about I don't know, 2 years, and then I essentially worked my way up into becoming a staff reporter, and then now here I am.
Some of the work that you did in the past, I mean, before you kind of like specialized in tobacco and vapor, what else have you done?
It was more drug policy heavy things. So a lot of harm reduction doing with cannabis.
Yeah.
And for a while there was the sense that psilocybin and sort of magic mushrooms were gonna maybe take off more than they did, but I was kind of in that camp too, just kind of looking at whatever benefits they might have.
Yeah, I mean that's very, I mean, similar to the struggle that the vaping industry is going through now. I mean, if you think about it, with all the other cannabis and all these other industries that for the last 20, 25 years have been fighting to become, legitimate product on the market for people that enjoy recreational or medical use of these products.
Right, and those camps kind of seemed easier in a, somewhat bizarre way. Especially magic mushrooms seemed to take off in a way that I didn't quite
really
anticipate. Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting.
That's going to be our next show, ladies and gentlemen. The Phil and Dimitri Magic Mushroom Show. That would be a show that a lot of people would tune in.
I would do that with you.
I'm down.
My drug experience is not very good.
It's really bad. It's really bad.
It's not good. I need more practice.
Yeah.
What I find really interesting, Alex, is for somebody, I mean, you're under 30, you're a fairly young guy, but you're tackling a lot of these very, very serious issues. And from your perspective, when you dive into these issues, you got to be cannabis policy, you got to be health policy, tobacco, vapor, and stuff like that. Do you feel like, obviously you're trying to see it as an objective. That's how journalism should work most of the time.
Yeah.
But do you feel that because you are younger in age, for example, from somebody that's been through this, that's like 60 years old, that's been through tobacco control in the 80s, right? So you're a younger guy. Do you see it with a different light, you believe? More technology?
Probably in the sense that I think people who are older than I am tend to not, and maybe rightfully so, don't really forget what the tobacco companies did and how they acted, and they tend to be very tunnel vision in the sense that they think anything to do with tobacco is you're getting cheated, or we're trying to make money, or we're trying to sort of appeal to children. Whereas I didn't really live through that so much. I sort of came of age in a time when there were different sort of harm reduction was sort of, at least the ideas behind it were sort of on the rise. Marijuana was being legalized. There were discussions around psilocybin and the ideas that it could benefit, people with PTSD or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So in that sense, yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Is that a younger sort of thing? Maybe.
Yeah. Hey, Alex, is there any nicotine, any vaping, any magic mushrooms in your life?
I smoked for a long period of time. I know a lot of smokers. My family smokes. I mean, so if there's a personal interest in it, it's maybe that, or in the sense that I know how these people kind of think and why they do it, and what addiction can kind of do and mean, if that makes sense.
Yeah. But you quit smoking. You smoked what, for the 7-8 years, you said?
Yeah, through kind of, I don't know, I kind of got into it. I mean, you kind of screw around in high school, right? So I did it then a little bit, but not really. And then I got to college and I was like, all right, I'll kind of really commit myself to smoking. And then, and then I just started working, and I was doing it all the time, kind of constantly. And then somewhat recently, within the last year or 2 years, I basically sort of weaned my way off and just stopped. I did vape a little bit, but really just kind of stopped by sort of force of will. It was sort of impossible, but I still think about it every day.
Yeah, that's interesting. I bet. I mean,
so you've never actually vaped?
No, I have vaped.
You have vaped, okay?
Yeah, I've tried a rig in some capacity a long time ago, but Joule, those kinds of things.
Yeah,
okay. And you said,
well, I mean, you do live in New York. I mean, smoking is very, very expensive there anyway.
Of course,
you're either gonna smoke or pay rent. That's basically how it kind of boils down, right?
Fuck Joule, by the way. You said some of your family smokes. Did I hear that correct? Right?
Yes.
Knowing what you know about vaping, doing some of the articles that you've done about vaping, right?
Yeah.
Is vaping something that you would recommend to your parents, to your family?
Well, I would say it. I think I'll put it this way. I think a common misconception that people, at least other people in the media, might like to think of it as, right, is that people from this camp like to say that vaping is sort of safe, or like you should vape, or these kinds of things. But I don't think anybody's quite claiming that. I think what they're claiming is that it's not safe, right? It's not entirely safe, but it is better than smoking a cigarette, right? And in the sense that it's very easy to be better than a cigarette, right? Like it's like by that logic, the evidence you need, the barrier to entry is not that high. So yeah, I would say roll the dice and vape.
Yeah,
right.
If I were talking to a parent or something.
Right. And that's something Dimitri and I talk about all the time. We have the other show that's called The Smoker Show. We always say that, hey, look, if you don't smoke and you don't vape, don't take up vaping. We don't want to, we're not trying to get you, hooked on nicotine, or anything like that. If you do smoke and you've tried all the standard cessation and those haven't worked for you, then come to vaping, because it is substantially, there's some substantial harm reduction there when compared to smoking, right? So we're not looking to create new addicts, but what we are trying to do is get more people involved who smoke.
Yeah, and I think that's a fair point of view that people should be, at least in the very least, willing to listen to.
Yeah. Do you think with your interaction with the vaping community, because I see you being active on Twitter, and I know you've reached out to quite a few people in the industry. I mean, do you believe that people like Matt Culley, like my mods, people that you've interacted with, there's got to be some passion that you understand that these people have about tobacco harm reduction. And it's not, I get it that we're involved in the industry, we make products and all that. I get that. But you gotta have some kind of a feeling that these guys really care about, getting people to quit smoking.
Yeah, no, somebody like Matt for sure. I believe that he's not, I do believe that he's not in it to make money.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that his passion is to help.
Mm-hmm.
As a sort of off-ramp to smoking. Yeah, I believe that for sure. I do think it's a misconception that people tend to think that maybe you guys are just in it for whatever, the money.
Nicotine peddlers, that's basically.
Definitely not nicotine peddlers. But look, a lot of people who are in the vape industry, I'm one of them, Dimitri's one of them, maybe Matt Culley is one of them, right? When we started doing this, we started it with pure passion. It was all about passion. It was all about getting people to stop smoking. And that's what it still is for me and Dimitri. But now we also make a living. It's how we feed our families too, right? And people are going to look at that and they're going to say, oh, well, you're in the vaping industry, right? So of course you're going to, but no, when I wasn't making a dime, why was I putting all that time and effort in doing these reviews, talking to people about vaping, traveling to shows? Why was I doing all that?
Did you this is not a leading question at all, but did you anticipate this at all? Like, are you shocked by how, like, where you are now? You know what I mean? Like, when you
I had absolutely, I still go like this every now and then. I'm like, is this really going on? I've always said it wasn't my goal to have, tons of subscribers. It wasn't my goal to, and I always hated the term vape famous, right? I don't like that. I don't like the term fans. I don't like any of that crap. Right. It's very, very surprising, where I am today. But also, if you really believe in something and you're really passionate about something and you truly care about something, and this has the potential to save a lot of goddamn lives, it's a great industry to be in. I often say that, what if I were to invent the perfect electronic cigarette and just like every smoker used this perfect electronic cigarette, right? I'm going to do two things. I'm going to save a whole lot of lives and I'm going to make a whole boatload of money.
Right.
But just one goes with the other.
Right.
And you shouldn't be demonized because of that.
One of the things that's frustrating for us, Alex, and this is something I've tried to insist into reporters like for the last 5 years that I've been is that when we started, Big Tobacco did not have a product on the market.
Right.
So in 2011, 2010, 2011, all the products were independent, all the way up to 2014, where Altria made its first move into the business and acquired a brand and then started building their own stuff. But before that, It was just us. And even up to 2016, 2017, when Joule started to become popular, nobody even talked about the big tobacco electronic cigarettes because they suck. They suck. They're horrible. We're talking about Mark 10s and Fuses and stuff like that were on the market. So it gets really frustrating for us to try to get that point across with legislators when we're lumped into that. It's like a stigma. Like we're lumped into that group where the legislators say, "Oh, this is big tobacco again, coming out with new technology to hook our kids." And it's like, and we all kind of like fall now into that same category. And man, let me tell you something. As far as media is concerned, we are so frustrated. That's why it was a relief to see. Not that your articles are pro-vapor. Your articles are fair and balanced. And this is what's really impressed me. And I tell you with the discussions that I've had with Matt, what's impressed me is that you've done research and you put out both sides and you put them fairly. And you let the voice of the other people being heard as well, too.
Yeah, sure.
Which is very rare. It's rare in today's media. It's just rare to see those kind of stories come out.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. And it's one of the reasons why I like Vice. I watch Vice on Showtime as well too. But Vice is not paying us for this, by the way. Before anybody starts saying any shit, I wish they would. If Vice wants to sponsor this show, but
please, Vice, we are available for sponsorship. Alex, I have some very good news for you, Alex.
Yes, go on.
I'm going to continue to promote your Twitter.
Hopefully I'm at 10,000 followers yet.
Okay, so please subscribe to Alex at Twitter at @Alex_Norcia. And the reason why I'm going to promote your
you picked
Twitter,
up 100 today. Come on, what's the matter with you?
Yeah, no, I'm going. It's climbing, man.
Yeah.
And every time, Alex, that I go ahead, and Dimitri, you have to come back to me now. I know you want to promote Alex's Twitter. Just come back to me here for a second. Okay. Every time I promote your Twitter, I'm also going to promote Watermelon Peach, the #1 best-selling flavor from the unsalted line. So expect to hear your Twitter promoted a lot tonight, Alex.
Fair enough. I will not promote the unsalted line.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Because before we went live, I asked Dimitri. I said, "Hey, can I tell Alex, that I really can't stand any fucking mainstream media right now, and explain to him why?" And he's like, "Yeah, absolutely."
Yeah. You can you can be honest. That's what I'm here for, man.
Yeah, and I think it's because of what we were just talking about. Mainstream media has a very one-sided view. It's a very agenda-driven view of vaping, right? What you see. Looking at other avenues of mainstream media outside of Vice. I mean, do you see that? Do you like?
I mean,
why?
I mean, I think if how do I phrase this? I guess the story or like the narrative, the sort of mainstream interest in vaping came from Joule, basically, right? Yeah. So the idea that it comes from Joule means that the mainstream interest in vaping is about the youth being addicted to vaping nicotine, right? And like that's where the interest lies in sort of national newspapers say, right? Like the stories are all about children being addicted to it, and like that's obviously a problem. But I think that for whatever reason, whether it's space constraints, whether or not it's actually a problem, whatever it is, that tends to just be their focus. In the sense that they don't really care much about. I mean, I think I've seen a handful of articles that have been like, New Jersey's banning flavors, products, and all these businesses are closing down. I think the Times did one of them, for example, but they're rare. I don't know why, but I would think it's because it's driven toward a sort of sensationalism, maybe the wrong word, but a certain drama and like they identified a problem and they just focus on that problem and sort of lose sight of the larger context. If that
right. I guess it draws public when it's like, save the kids more than how about we save 𝗵𝗵𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 life? Like nobody cares about 𝗵𝗵𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀's life, right?
And if I'm being honest, no one really gives a shit about people who smoke cigarettes, right? Like there's it's like, okay, like there you go, smoke cigarettes. Like I that's a blanket statement, but I think it's I think people probably care about the teenagers more than they do 50-year-olds still smoking.
Sure. And again, based on the theory that nicotine is poison, this is the theory that they all use. And I mean, it doesn't take, you don't have to be a scientist. I remember, when I was a smoker and people used to say, I always felt I did something bad because I smoked. So even if somebody would chastise me or whatever, I would say, well, I'm smoking, I'm doing something bad. I would never fight back. I'd go hide behind a dumpster. I would go, outside to smoke. I remember one time in Mayo Clinic in Minnesota, I had taken my father-in-law, God bless us, he passed away a few months ago. But I took my father-in-law to Mayo Clinic for his tests. Like, this is like 10 years ago, 12 years ago. And in Mayo Clinic, I didn't know. I mean, obviously it's a hospital, you can't smoke in there. But, me being from the South, I went up he was in a doctor waiting for something. So I go to the receptionist and I said, is there a smoking area? Yeah, I thought it was a logical question.
Right,
I mean, she literally, she almost stabbed me. That's how bad it was. She's like, honestly, you can't smoke anywhere. I'm like, so my natural response, Alex, was, well, I guess I'm going to go outside. That's what, I have to go outside, like walk all the way outside because Mayo Hospital's huge. And she's like, no, you can't smoke anywhere on the grounds.
Right.
So I went outside. I went across the street to like another block, and I had the cigarette in my jacket. It's Minnesota, right? It's very cold. I had my cigarette in my jacket, like threatening to like light myself on fire just to have it. This is how bad it was. Right. And the reason why I bring all this up is like, now I found something. Like, you told me to quit smoking for 3 years. Now I finally found something to quit smoking, and now I'm in the worst camp than I was when I was a smoker. It's frustrating, man. It's just
I understand the frustration. Yeah.
And kids is something that, I don't know. What do you think? I mean, we get it. Now that schools have been closed for 60 days, I wonder, what they're all probably having nicotine fits, but but I get it. I get it. It shouldn't come to the expense of people dying.
No, I don't think it. And then, there's the idea where, now I don't know the answer. The idea in which now everyone's got to go through this PMTA process, right? Yeah. I think the ironic thing is that, like, it's only going to be after that process in which vaping is going to be vindicated, right? Because otherwise, it's the only way the narrative changes is that the government has to say, even if they're the ones who screwed up in a lot of ways, they're the ones who are going to have to say that this is safer, right? And the only way they're able to do that is by reviewing these applications, and then they're, you know what I mean? Then they're going to say,
pay to play, basically. Yeah.
So, that's it. The first PMTA that comes out, that is a vaping PMTA, basically admits at that point.
I think it would change the whole conversation. Yeah, I do.
That vaping is safer than smoking.
Wow. Yeah, I think that'd be that'd be the next chapter in whatever this story is.
Now, who's been saying that? Who's been saying that, Phil, by the way? I just want to put that out there. Who's been saying that for a while?
This Greek guy,
Dimitri 𝗂𝗵𝗶𝗹. Damn right.
Yeah. So we were talking about the underage and the epidemic of teens vaping, and now that we actually have an epidemic, rather a pandemic, I hope they understand the difference between a teen vaping epidemic and a real epidemic. I hope people understand that. Do you get it now?
It's a fair point. Yes.
You get it? Okay. But you've done a couple articles, like the UK supports vaping, right?
Sure.
The UK they're willing to say things that the US isn't, right? Why is that? Why, how come they support vaping? They push vaping. They talk about vaping. They have vape shops in hospitals. Yet here, and I kind of know the answer, but
sure.
What do you think?
I think, like, I could go on forever, but I think in summary, this country tends to have a very moralistic view on especially substances, right? Whether it's alcohol or weed or whatever, to the sense that they deal in absolutes, right? So it's either weed's bad for you, it's illegal, or booze is bad, we're going to prohibit it. And they approach, I think, nicotine in the same way, and the same way they kind of entangle it with tobacco, right? So like nicotine and tobacco are the same thing. They're bad for you. And they're not really willing to see sort of the gray area between the things, if that makes sense, right? So in the point that, like, they're just not, it's either it's bad or it's fine.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's quite either of those things, which is why it's confusing. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, no one's going to encourage you to start vaping, but no one's going to discourage you. No one should be discouraging you from doing it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I hear you and I understand some of that and I appreciate that. And I'm certainly not trying to corner you into,
No.
a conspiracy theory or anything like that. But I also believe that it has a lot to do with money. Right?
Yeah.
I believe it has a lot to do with the fact that overseas, being sick costs money. And here, being sick makes money. Big difference.
I think that's probably a fair. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But I do think just culturally, like the idea in which the way we look at things, it's almost always in absolutes. Like the idea in which, I mean, and there's almost two camps the way I see in the sort of vaping community, right? There are people who tend to speak in, what we want to call it, harm reduction language, right? Like somebody like Matt Cully, who sort of well versed in, and then there's other people who are almost like, they're libertarians, right? They're like, I should be able to vape. The government does. I should be able to do what I want, right?
The freedom.
Right. I think that language is easier for people to understand, right? Like it's a more American way of thinking, but it's also the flip side of the coin is the other people saying that it's terrible, right? Like the more nuanced version is the former one, like Matt's, right? Where it's like, which is what the UK is saying.
Alex, you're on the right track, man.
Right. This isn't safe. Track. No one's saying it's safe, right? No one's saying these things are safe. They're just saying it's safer.
Right.
Right. And I think if you just say that enough times, I do think people will get it eventually, because otherwise you're just screaming nonsense at each other, I think.
I mean, this is a progressive issue. It's something that I've bitched about for the last 5 years. Like when is this industry going to realize that we need to go after people on both sides of the aisle that believe in this progressive issues? This has nothing to do with a political front, whether you're right or left or whatever, or the Republican or Democrat. It's dumb. I think the issue here boils down to, if they take away vaping, which is an adult right, what are they going to take afterwards? We get guns. They're going to take away beer. They're going to take away, Pornhub. Can you imagine that? Phil would be devastated.
Oh dear God! Please don't take Pornhub away, please.
Just the thought of that alone is just like really. But you're absolutely right. I think that as I think, and I have to be fair. I think because we're so passionate about vape, because it has influenced it changed our lives. We feel so much better. Right. Our health is better. So we always try to put that up front. But unfortunately, people don't understand how you feel. They can't feel what you felt 20 years smoking and now shifting to vaping. So going back to the freedom thing and the liberty thing, I think that's a great strategy, and it should be used more in a PR situation, meaning that what we should be doing out there is telling people, hey, this is our right as adults, and you can't stop us from doing that.
Right. Yeah, but then I think it runs the risk of being co-opted by that group of people. You know what I mean? Like then it gets associated with, and I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing, but I think that could be the rap it gets, right? Where it could be a progressive issue, or it could be both things, right?
Yeah.
But it is very much more in that latter camp where it's like, and I don't know if that's just because people don't know how to. That's the only sort of effective strategy they've had. But I think that's why somebody like Paul Blair, for example, is kind of a popular figure in this world, is because he kind of can speak this.
He knows how to speak that language. You're right. Absolutely right. Yeah. He knows what to say.
Let me jump in here real quick. Make sure you subscribe to Alex on Twitter at Alex_Norcia.
Look at that.
Also check out 𝗏𝗏, the #1 best-selling flavor of unsalted. Also like to say hello to Grim Green hanging out with us here too in the
hey
chat.
Nick, what's up, buddy?
Hello Nick, and where the fuck were you when we were talking about Star Wars with Patrick on the Peep Show? Okay. All right, moving on.
Nick Grim Green is a big fan of Alex. Yeah, go ahead.
Let me ask Alex.
Hi, Nick.
Okay? And this is going to be a tough question, but I'm just curious.
Yeah.
In the research that you've done when it comes to vaping, right? What was the most interesting, like, aha experience you had in doing some of the research and in writing about vaping? Curious.
I would say the I don't know if this is quite where you're getting at, but I think the biggest sort of pivotal moment, if you would want to call it, I went to the rally in DC.
Wow.
And I met people there, which is I don't know what my preconceptions were of the people I were going to meet, but it was a very diverse and varied crowd. Not that I thought I was going to go to a gun rally or something.
Oh, but, AR-15s, like a mission.
Yeah, but I was. I was almost taken aback by how passionate everybody was about this thing, not in an obnoxious. Because I also think too, which is important, this can all seem kind of ridiculous, right? Like the
like a cult.
Not a cult, but it can look silly to an outsider, I think.
Sure. Oh, absolutely.
It looks nerdy and like in a dorky sense, right? It's like cult's the wrong word, but it can feel like impenetrable, right?
Yeah, it's like a special group.
Yeah. And then when I went there and I met people, it was different.
Yeah. You know, I think, you know, when you go to shows and when you've been going to shows as long as Dimitri and I have, and when you talk to some of the people, and especially earlier on in like the history of vaping and the earlier shows, you get a sense of how important this is to folks. And the reason why it's so important to folks is because they have had this monkey on their back their entire lives that is smoking, right? And they have tried so hard to quit so many times. They have tried all of the known cessation devices, the cessation tools and methods. They have tried the pills and the patches and the gums, and nothing's worked. Nothing's worked for these people, right? And all of their lives, I'm one of them, right? Society is telling you, you got to quit. You got to quit. It's going to kill you. It's going to kill you. For me, it was my father. When are you going to quit smoking? When are you going to quit smoking? When are you going to quit smoking? Right? He had a heart attack, so he knew, or he felt like it was coming, you know, for me next. And these people, they find something. They find something that, oh my God, this works. I actually don't smoke anymore, right? And it's incredibly powerful. It's incredibly powerful. That's why I think you see the passion that you see in the industry, and you see the passion that vapors have, right? Because when everything else has failed, when everybody is telling you to quit smoking, we found something that works, and now they're trying to take that away from us too.
Yeah.
Like how do you deal with it now that it's like, I guess you never quite felt that it would ever be corporatized to the sense that it is. Like, how did you feel when Big Tobacco got involved? For example?
Completely, absolutely disgusted. I'm absolutely disgusted. Here's why. Okay, because we made vaping. Okay, vaping was a grassroots effort. Vaping was me, Dimitri, Grim Green. Vaping was all of us on YouTube or the ECF or forums talking about this. We basically built vaping up into a viable industry, and Big Tobacco says, hey, we can make some money over there. So here they come, right? And the problem I have with that is that, fuck you, Big Tobacco, if you're going to claim that you care about harm reduction, and that's why you're getting involved in vaping.
Sure.
Because if it wasn't for us, if it wasn't for what we did, you would have absolutely no interest in vaping, and you would continue to sell your cigarettes. Yeah. And if you truly were concerned about harm reduction, if you truly believed in vaping, then stop selling all your cigarettes right now.
That's not gonna happen.
Right now.
I see it from a little different perspective, Alex. Like my perspective is, I don't mind Big Tobacco coming into the market with vapor products, because I think if you believe in harm reduction, then you believe anybody selling them, right? I don't care if somebody's going to be introduced to vaping through a Big Tobacco product. That's great. I think it's great for us as well too, that are on the independent side, because it brings more customers in. My problem with Big Tobacco is when they use regulations and legislation to eliminate competition. That's my biggest problem with it. So right now, you have literally a segment that a consumer product that kills 480,000 Americans a year, that made a deal with the government through the master settlement agreement to continue to sell. This product will never be banned in America through the deal that they made. This is how powerful they are. So you can't tell me that they don't have the power to stop what's happening now with flavor bans. They just choose not to, because they know as soon as all the dust clears, they're the only ones that are going to be left selling even this product as well too. So that's my problem with Big Tobacco. It's not really that they're making vapor products. Bring it on. I love competition. I would put my product next to a Big Tobacco product. Let's go at it for a consumer. But when you're using dirty tactics and politics and your money to eliminate competition, then that's what really disgusts me.
Like how do you deal with that now? Is it just constant
It's just constant battle, and some states were winning, some states were failing, unfortunately, because what they realized is that from a federal perspective, the PMTA is the only thing that can clean the industry, meaning
for sure,
right? But what they realize is that we can do this at a local level. So a lot of the bills that we see now in New York and New Jersey that ban flavors, and Massachusetts, all those there was a big tobacco influence in the back, right? It wasn't just like the politician came out and said, I'm just going to ban flavors, right? So they're using their political influence on a state by state, especially these big states, to effectively create legislation that eliminates competition. So either you're going to have a very strong political group with a very good lobby and PR firm that you can go in there and combat them, at least fist to fist, to try to push this thing off, or you're gonna lose. I mean,
and then can I ask one more question?
Sure. Yeah, we're supposed to be interviewing you, though.
I know. But do you see this as a political issue? Have you been politicized because of?
You can't, unfortunately. You can't. This is the easiest issue for a politician to go along with, because they can always use, I voted like this to protect the kids. And there's nothing that we can say to combat that, unfortunately. This is the out from every politics, because I've dealt in state politics here in Tennessee since 2014, where I formed my association here. Every politician that I've talked to, even sensible ones that really don't read bills, because most of the politicians don't read the bills that they sign, they're easy out for their constituents and the people that actually vote, because kids don't vote, younger people don't vote, unfortunately. So for the older people that especially have teenagers, they can turn around to the constituents and say, hey, listen, I did this to protect your kids. And now all of a sudden you're a saint. You're not a politician, you know? So if you're asking me, it's gonna take a very, very long time. I think a PMTA, as you said, will slow down that. I think once a product that comes out of the Food and Drug Administration that says this product is less harmful than cigarettes, then you can turn to them.
I've heard that line from, let's say, industry people.
Yeah.
Major industry people.
Yeah. By the way, I see the phone calls. Please hold by. I just want to bring something in, then I'm going to start bringing the phone calls in. I do want to show you this. I use Muck Rack as just a website that brings up articles from various. If you want to see all of Alex's work, you can go to muckrack.com and then just type in his name, and it'll bring all the articles that Alex has written. Some of the most notable ones for me, of course, the big study that was retracted by Statin Glance. Don't be glancing. That's a new term for lying, by the way. Did you know that, Phil?
Fuck him. Yes.
If you're lying, you can say now, stop glancing. That's a new term. So another one here: coronavirus has closed vape shops, but left cigarettes readily available. Another really good article by Alex. Smokers, of course, being less hospitalized. This is the hot topic this week, and we talked about this pre-show. Wouldn't it be ironic if nicotine came along and it can actually protect you from the deadly coronavirus? But one thing that I do want to bring up, we saw this article come out this week. This is basically giving a medal to this guy, Peter Briss. Right? He is basically being hailed as a hero by the CDC for discovering that vitamin E acetate was in THC products. And ironically, in this entire article, it mentions vaping and e-cigarettes constantly. And only in one little sentence down here does it actually say that it was in a THC. The rest of the article basically conflates, again, e-cigarettes with weed, which is completely wrong. But I do want to mention that, Alex wrote about this a long time ago, that vitamin E acid, as we did, and even Leafly and some of the weed magazines they all need medals, including you, Alex. We all should get fucking medals. You know who shouldn't get a medal? This fucking guy. This guy, Peter Briss, he should not get a medal. In fact, he should be put in jail, like with the rest of the CDC, because I just don't trust any of them anymore, Alex. I'm pissed. I'm pissed with this whole situation.
Yeah, no, there's a level to which this whole, whatever you want to call it, epidemic, fiasco, whatever, was caused by just imprecise language.
Yeah.
Imprecise language, poor reporting, incomplete reporting, fear mongering.
They were glancing, baby. They were glancing.
But I do think the sense in which you say vaping to around 17-year-olds or whatever, and it can mean two totally different things.
Yeah.
It's not conducive to accuracy, at least.
Yeah, absolutely. No doubt.
We need to come up with a new word for what we do. Because unfortunately, when you talk about vaping, because the industry went in so many different directions. And I tell you what, Dimitri and I, since really day one with the different directions that that vaping was taking, we said we got to separate. We got to separate. We got to.
Yeah, it's like, of course they were going to put weed in it, you know.
Yeah. And listen. The funny thing is that you cannot vaporize weed in our products. It's impossible. You need a certain coil. You need certain wattage. You need if you try to put THC oil in our atomizer, it's just not going to work.
That's what I mean. But it's like no one wants to listen to you explain that. If you just had a different word to say, problem solved. But we might be too past that point now.
All right. I see 614 dropped. If you want 614, call back. You were the longest one on hold. So I apologize if you dropped because of the hold. But 973, you're on the air.
There we go.
Oops. 973.
Hey, Demetrius and Phil?
Yeah. Hey, what's up?
Yep.
Hey, this is Danish. How you guys doing?
Hey, Danish. What's up, buddy? Danish from Medusa Distribution. Where, by the way...
Danish, I don't know if you know, but the unsalted peach watermelon, watermelon peach, doing fantastic. #1 best-selling flavor.
Now available at Medusa Distribution. Go ahead. Okay. All right, Danish, go ahead. By the way, can I say something, Danish? Can I say something? I wanted to make a post about this on Facebook. I didn't want to embarrass you, but... Danish, by the way, Alex, Danish is in New Jersey. He's one of the biggest U.S. distributors of vapor products. And in a state that banned flavor products, they've been doing a fantastic job behind it. Nobody knows how hard you work, Danish. Lawsuit filed, bills coming up. I mean, they're doing a tremendous work trying to overturn the flavor. So congratulations. Don't think it goes unnoticed. Many people won't tell you this, but I definitely see the work that you're doing.
I appreciate it. Yeah, sometimes it's actually better to not make things as public because certain politicians don't want to, have this kind of publicity of helping us. I don't know if that makes sense. So we don't announce everything.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, Alex, thanks so much for covering the issue from multiple perspectives and giving it some perspective. I want to sort of talk about two things. Number one, I think that one of the interesting things that I don't think gets discussed enough, which is what makes the movement even more impressive, is that the people who seriously vape and who have been doing this for a long time, like Phil and Demetrius, they sort of understand that you can't ban this stuff, right? So the people that are getting excited are mostly getting excited to keep it widely accessible. Right.
Yeah.
So the industry came from a do-it-yourself movement.
Right.
So I think a lot of times people say, well, why can't you get all these millions of people that vape to come to these state house meetings or to these rallies? And it's almost like weed in a certain sense, right? Like you don't have rallies when one state or another doesn't pass a referendum to legalize weed because people know that they're going to smoke weed that night anyway.
Right.
So I think that's what makes it even more impressive. The people that you saw in D.C. are people that want to keep it publicly and widely available for people who haven't started vaping yet.
Right. That's a good point.
All of those people at the rally, they're going to have no issue finding vape products, right?
Right.
So I think that's one thing that often doesn't get said enough, which makes it all the more impressive to me. And the other thing that you said about imprecise language, like I've been in this industry long enough to remember that people used to get upset that anybody had ever called this an e-cigarette. They thought that one of the sources of like our woes was that we had the word cigarette in it. But when the whole EVALI thing came out, that term didn't help us at all.
No.
Right? So they started then using the technology, sort of the broad spectrum of vaping technology to loop us in, right? And if you look at all these state bills, I'll stop after this because I can go on forever, but if you look at all these state flavor bans, they actually go to some length in all of the bans to carve out flavored marijuana, right?
Interesting.
So the thing that actually caused this, the illnesses is actually having special sections written in to carve it out, right? And that just sort of speaks to the power of like one lobby versus another lobby. Yeah. And I think that's something that doesn't get talked about enough because you see these articles and say flavor ban in Massachusetts, but nobody actually reads the bill to go in and see that they actually are carving flavored marijuana vaping out, right? So it's not just about flavors and even vaping flavors, It's about vaping flavored nicotine, which should tell you a little bit about the power of the tobacco lobbies. That's all I wanted to say.
Interesting.
Thank you.
Thank you, Danish. I appreciate it. Thanks for calling in, my friend. Hope to see you soon, and maybe we get to go to another DJ Tiesto concert together, buddy.
Absolutely, man. Looking forward to it. Thank you, guys.
Have a good night. Thanks. There you
Thanks,
go,
man.
Danish. Yeah, he does bring a very good point up, Alex, and I think that I think one of the reasons why he put it out there is probably because just like when you reach out to the vaping community, everybody wants to give you information that
For sure. That's the whole point.
Potentially could see the light of day, which is something that's really really hurting us. But he is right. There's a lot of fucking passionate people in this industry, man. There's just
for sure.
From 18 years old to 80 years old, you're gonna see the whole spectrum of harm reduction and how this product has affected him, and it's pretty impressive. I'm very proud to be part of this movement. I'll be honest with you. No matter what mistakes we've done as an industry and the stupid stuff that we've done as an industry, I'm still very very proud. And I think that just affecting one or two people in your life, or the thousands of people that we've helped quit smoking over the years, is something that you can take with you.
Do you have a sense of how many there are of you?
Yeah. I would say that firmly in the United States, there's 3 million vapors. By vapors, I mean 3 million, passionate full-time that quit smoking and all that. It's probably in the 8-9 million mark. It's probably dual users, pod users, recreational users. People that just vape and don't even know that their state's about to ban. Like, they're completely ignorant. They just go to the store, pick up a vape, and
it's not there.
They don't care. But I would say out of those 3 million, I would say about 1% of those are in this, let's go and AR-15 kind of style. Like, I'm gonna go fight for vaping. You know? Well, it's probably under 1%, but that's about the numbers where we are right now, and it's not enough to make a big stink. I don't think it is enough to make a big stink yet.
Yeah, there may be 3 million, but there's only one Dimitri. Let's keep that in mind.
This is true. Maybe we should call vaping Dimitri.
Dimitri. Okay, sure. Yeah. It'd be better than filling.
That's for sure.
But he said something else there that was interesting that I say a lot. Right? Because it's one of the reasons why we held off from doing the DIY show on the Smoker Show for such a long time, right? Because I hate that point of view and that perspective. And when people say, I'm going to be okay because I know how to DIY, right? I know where to go. I know where to get my products. I know I'm going to be just fine. That's just a really, really selfish perspective. It's a selfish point of view, right? Because there's going to be a lot of people out there. Number one, they're going to be way too lazy. They don't want to do it. They don't like. I saw the pain that Dimitri went through today because Dimitri did a little DIYing today. We'll talk about that later on, right? Yeah. But it's not going to help. It's not going to help older folk. It's not, my mother would never DIY, right? My wife would never DIY. I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
That's why these products, that's why we have to continue to fight. And that's why I hate that perspective. I think it's a selfish perspective. Yeah, all of us are going to be fine because we've been in this for so long. We're going to know where to get our products. And black market, that's going to happen.
Sure.
Right.
But isn't there a world in which there's like this very high corporate level like Joule, right? And then like you guys might exist still doing that yourselves.
Sure. I mean, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I totally foresee that, actually.
Yeah.
More than anything. I think from the bad thing is that Joule gave a bad name to vaping as far as the perception of the public is concerned. And by the way, 361, I see you on the switchboard. I'm going to bring you in after this point. So in 2013, if you asked Americans, probably about 70% would agree that vaping was less harmful than cigarettes. And if you ask that same question today, it's reversed. Like almost 70% of Americans think that vaping is just as, or even worse. Like vaping will kill you today where cigarette takes 30 years to kill you, right? Yep. So I think if anything, what Joule has done is bring a bad name to vaping. And that is something that it's going to be very, very hard for us to overcome no matter what happens. It's very hard unless you have the financial, backing to get out there with a strong PR firm to change that message and put correct information in the eyes of the people to educate them on the choices. and I always like to explain it like this: try to quit smoking cold turkey. That would be the best thing to do. That would be the fantastic, but it's hard. I mean, we all know it's hard, right? Then try the available NRT methods. That fails. And then when you've tried and have exhausted those avenues, give vaping a try. And that's the way I've always tried to promote it. But unfortunately, we can't even get to that point, right. Unless we give American Lung Association $20 million, for example. Then if we did that, American Lung Association would be, oh, yeah, well, if you can't quit, try vaping as well, too.
Hey, D, you said something interesting there. I just want to jump in for a second. You said that Joule, and believe me, I'm not protecting or saying anything good about Joule, right? But you said Joule gave vaping a bad name. When it comes to the kids, yeah, I agree with you, right? But when it comes to people thinking that vaping is not as safe or safer than smoking, I don't think that's Joule. I think that's mainstream media.
No. I think the introduction of Joule into the market and the fact that kids gravitated to that product created this anti-vaping movement that also brought along bad science. So it's not Joule directly that did that, but the Joule problem is what triggered this whole attack. And with that attack, you have groups like Glance that continues to put out bad science saying that vaping is bad for lungs and stuff like that. All that came because of Joule. All that came because of Joule.
Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Alex. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say it also for a while, you guys were basically left alone,
correct,
right? In a large sense. No one was really paying attention to you. And then Joule comes along, and the kids are obviously addicted. And then now they're talking about regulations, and now you're involved, right? Like that's sort of what it did, right? In the very least, gave a sense in which this industry that we weren't paying attention to at all, that we don't understand, that we don't know the people in, has been largely just maybe unregulated, it's the wrong word, but ignored completely, right? And now they have to somehow regulate it to make it look like they're doing something to save the teens from being addicted when it's probably too late anyway. So they have to go back and, you know what I mean? Like there's nothing they can really do other than this sort of knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is.
That's what I think you have now, and that's why you have these rushed deadlines that make no sense. Why there's nothing streamlined, there's no explanation for anything. That's the whole irony of this, is that they had to regulate it when for so long they just weren't at all. You know what I mean? Like you guys would be probably better off with some regulations. But,
sure. Nobody in this industry does not want fair and reasonable regulation.
I don't think people realize that.
Yeah. I get you. We've always fought for fair and reasonable regulations. There's no doubt about it, because we use these products ourselves. We inhale these products into our lungs. We want to have some regulation that makes sense for the product. All right, 215-383-5752. Press 1 if you have any questions or comments. And now joining us, 361, you're on the air.
Well, hello, guys.
Well, hello, sir.
This is Patrick.
Hey, Patrick.
So I'm really proud the fact that Alex has come on to the DP show. You actually brought up something that I was going to bring up with my question in regards to, the general public and their knowledge of vaping and their, basically believing, like we said, in 2015, they actually did a survey that the general public was asked, and they believed that vaping was 70%, or 70% of the people believed that vaping was less harmful than smoking. Mm-hmm. They repeated that survey in 19. The same study, the same people that were questioned, and they replied that 30% still believed that vaping was less harmful than smoking, and 70% believed that vaping was more harmful. When we see headlines pretty regularly across feeds and shared all over social media, negatively impacting, basically saying that vaping is killing people, the headlines often are way more overblown than what the actual body of the story actually says. And most people don't click through and read the full body. They don't read anything past the lead on a lot of these stories. And, how is it that, because I used to work for Gannett back in the day, and I know for a fact that a lot of times advertisers have a lot of power and authority over editorial in a lot of these big papers. How do we combat that, Alex?
Yeah, I mean, I can only speak for my own situation, but no one's ever. I mean, and I'm vaguely I would describe it as a sort of, I mean, somewhat obviously progressive kind of place, at least in the things we cover. But I have not had a problem arguing. I mean, maybe somebody wasn't always on the same page in the sense that, like, oh, this is some sort of minor vape thing that no one's going to care about or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I think when you explain these sorts of things in a larger, like, I think what this sort of movement or whatever it is lacks is a sort of larger context, right? Because it's now just enveloped in, I think it's been enveloped in Joule, right? Where it's just Joule took over the market. There's this teen epidemic, whatever. Like, and the way to sort of take over the narrative is to be like, there's a larger context in which that tobacco harm reduction is like a thing that can happen, right? In the same way that marijuana can be used for alleviating all kinds of pains, all these kinds of things. But I don't know. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, we have this Baptist versus bootleggers or Baptist and bootleggers sort of thing going on where we have public health people basically assisting with the, tobacco businesses. They both want to push vaping out of the way. And, we have, so-called scientists like Stanton Glanz bringing in literally hundreds of millions of dollars into the UCSF and a lot of, tobacco control programs based on a myth, essentially, that vaping is more harmful than smoking, or vaping is bad, when we really, they're just bringing in, it's a cash cow for a lot of these researchers and these public health groups, because literally, if they were to support tobacco harm reduction, we would fulfill their end goal and, reduce smoking in the country.
Sure. I mean, I don't think, I don't know. I don't have the answer like where this goes from here, but I do think once those PMTAs are filed and once the thing's finally inevitably, I think, approved, the story is going to change at least a bit, right? Like, and it's changed a bit now too. I mean, like somebody said earlier, like, I mean, and I think, I've somebody else has said this before too, but I mean, this country sort of yearns for a pandemic, right? And there was the idea for a while that, vaping sort of filled that, and then an actual one came along, and then this one sort of, disappeared. And like, I don't know, Joule just moved its offices to Washington, and that's not a major news story, for example. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think it would have been 5 months ago.
Yeah, they chose the wrong place to go. Once again, the wrong move from Joule, like the last year and a half full of wrong decisions. Like, go to a tobacco state. Where you go to North Carolina, go somewhere like that where you can get some allies. You go like right into the belly of the beast to try to sell Joule. It's just I think it's a wrong.
Yeah,
move.
I mean, they're just trying to get past that. They just got to get past that application stage. That's all they care about.
Yeah, like most big tobacco companies that have filed so far. Yeah. So makes sense.
Yeah.
Patrick, anything else?
That's it. I just thank you, Alex, for coming on.
Of course, man.
We always like to hear from people that are outside of our circles.
Perfect. Thank you, man.
Thanks, Patrick. And catch Patrick every Friday night with Son of Liberty Radio. I think it's Friday night on the Smoke Free Radio Network. And you do like a little cartoon show, don't you, feel over there with him?
A cartoon show. It's very funny. It's, Geeks Are Us.
Geeks Are Us. Yeah. A little sci-fi. Alex,
It's fun. And hey, make sure you subscribe to Alex's Twitter, right?
Yes.
At Alex _
yes.
You're right. Is it on the screen? Where is it?
I'm going.
What happened? Usually, right on top of this. There it is. Alex Norcia, right?
Yeah.
And while you are subscribing to Alex on Twitter and reading some of his articles that we will talk more about, do try to vape the number one best-selling watermelon peach. You're gonna love it.
Well, we need to get Grim Green to tweet you and tell his followers to follow you. That will get you a lot.
Yeah, maybe
he's
still listening.
Yes, Grim Green is very, very famous. Very famous.
You're number one. So, Alex.
Yes, sir.
Is nicotine the new cure-all drug? Is that going to save us? Is it going to save us from?
I mean, I don't know, right? I mean, like I think the story is that it's not. No one's encouraging you to take it up, right? But the idea in which it's taboo to study it is sort of fascinating, right? There's sort of outcry to even look at it scientifically, with any sort of skepticism or from a new point of view. At least that's where,
right. But
that's what interests me.
And this is something that we talked about before the show. Why is nicotine so evil, right? And I think nicotine on its own, if there was never a cigarette, if it was just nicotine, I don't think nicotine would be demonized as much as it is today, right? But it's the delivery method.
No, I think you're right. Yeah.
Right. Because I think that, and I've said this before, that, if nicotine came from a bean and we roasted the bean and we ground the bean and we made a delicious frothy beverage with the bean, right? Nobody would be talking about nicotine. Now, if caffeine came from a leaf that we smoked, then caffeine would be the enemy.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
But it's all about the delivery method. Nicotine on its own, like Dimitri said, it's a wonderful thing, right?
It's a wonderful.
And there are potentially
substance.
Yeah, there you go. There are potential health benefits, and maybe we're even seeing that less chance of getting COVID with this stuff.
I mean, I think in the very least, it's something to look into, right? Sure. I mean, that's sort of. I mean, you're right in the sense that I do think it's been entangled with tobacco But I do think that's sort of like, I think we talked about in the very beginning. I think that is I think this sort of collective memory of I think that somebody like Stan Glantz, for example, and his sort of whole modus operandi is that he hasn't quite forgotten, and again, maybe rightfully so, how terrible the big tobacco companies were.
You're absolutely right. It's an ideology.
Decades ago, and I understand not forgetting that, right? And being distrusting of people. It can become a bit of, you can get a bit tunnel visioned, right? But in the same sense that you can think, I'm going to inject nicotine in my veins and I'm going to be cured of the coronavirus, which is just not true. Yeah. But I think, objectively speaking, we should be able to study these things or look into it without there being some sort of massive outcry.
Yeah.
That
it shouldn't be a taboo.
It's ridiculous that we're even looking at it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I think that.
I'm going to read from Alex's article here because I think he summarized pretty well. But the irony, should it turn out that nicotine has a protective effect on the coronavirus, is that public health agencies across the world have been advising people to quit it entirely since the pandemic took off, urging, for example, both smokers of combustible cigarettes and vapors to stop. The distinction between nicotine and tobacco, which are often lumped together and demonized, is one emphasized by tobacco control experts focused on harm reduction. Getting a nicotine fix from anything safer than traditional cigarette has been crucial in cessation methods and is a foundation in tobacco harm reduction research. And again, when you see articles like this is why vapors love you, Alex. It's when you see articles, you see statements like that from somebody that's not in the trenches with vapors. It just goes to show that you're seeing things objectively, and there's nobody more that appreciates it than people like me and Phil and everybody that's here that struggles to get our voice out there.
Thank you. It will happen. I think more people will. It'll catch on.
Yeah, and we thank Vice for being. Because we know it. It's difficult to get these articles to go out. I don't know if it's the companies that own them, but Vice has done a good job in being very objective, and it doesn't seem like there's any kind of censorship or anything like that. And I think that's a fantastic tool. We need more media outlets like that.
We need that.
Yeah, we need more Vice.
We absolutely need more Vice, and I love the articles. So I'm saying goodnight to Larry. Also saying, Janine, that was a beautiful email that you sent us today. We appreciate that. I had a question, but now I said goodnight to Larry. I can't remember. But I will remember it in just a little bit. So,
and that, folks, right there is one of the downfalls of nicotine.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so go ahead.
No. What was your question? Oh, you forgot it? You left it out?
If let's say that it's actually found, we find out that nicotine could potentially, I don't know, 10% of COVID cases, right? It could help 10% of COVID cases.
Sure.
And of course, if you want to get your nicotine in the safest possible way, all right, vaping happens to be one of them. What if vaping nicotine could potentially save lives when it comes to COVID? Do you believe that our government, our healthcare system, even though it could potentially save lives, and we already know it does, like if you're going from smoking to vaping, we already know it's saving lives, but if it could potentially save lives here too, do you think they would, even then, would they support it, or would they still be like, fuck you, die at this point? I would rather you die than say something good about vaping.
I don't know the answer to that. I'm not sure. I think it would require a larger than usual sort of purpose of that, right? Like there's a larger hurdle to sort of jump over for that point to be made, right? Like, I don't know I'm not a scientist, obviously, but like, I don't know what clinical trials you would have to do to get the government even on board to consider that being an option, right?
Sure.
It would have to be a lot of money. And
then they're just going to make it into a pill, you know, like.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. Then they're going to make it into a pill, which is always, but that's going to open up the door for a whole lot of different conversation. Yeah. But, Alex, I'll let you go. We really appreciate,
whatever, man.
We really appreciate you taking the time coming on.
Of course, I had almost, I would say, nothing else to do.
That's great. but before you go, just give me 5 minutes. How are you dealing with this COVID situation?
I'm okay.
Because this is a COVID relief show, so
I'm fine. I'm doing. I mean, personally, it's been totally fine. Which is sort of a selfish answer always. But it really hasn't affected my life in like some sort of 𝗏𝗏𝗃, some major kind of way. It's just I'm inside a lot, cooking more.
Yeah, I mean, being a writer, you probably work from home a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I don't have to go in the office, but I'm on the phone all the time or on the internet anyway. It's not, it's a little different just being like, just everything sort of blends together, right? Like you wake up and then you have to develop a new routine, right? Otherwise you go crazy. Like I can't. You guys work from home though, yeah?
Yeah. For us, I mean, aside that, I have to deal with my wife and daughters, for 2 months without traveling. It's about to drive me crazy. Other than that, it hasn't really affected us. I want to know which camp you're on. Are you on the camp that thinks that this whole Corona thing is way overblown, or are you on the camp that says that, we should err on the side of caution and we should really be careful with this thing?
I would say, can I give a sort of brief
answer? Of course.
The latter one, I do think there should still be an abundance of caution, but I will say that I understand the sort of frustration people have in reopening the economy, considering the government is providing, especially small businesses or working class people, any kind of actual relief. I get the idea that you have to go back to work. But I also get the idea that people are dying. And here, especially like kind of in the tri-state area, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, it's been apocalyptic's the wrong word. Like I'm gonna go that far, but it's eerie, right? Like you get the sense something bad is still happening. And like this sort of, and I think I was under the delusion too, that it would, last 6 weeks or whatever. And it's kind of just going to stretch on for months on end.
Do you think it should? I mean, do you think that where we are and how strict things are should be, dependent on the amount of the outbreak in that location, right? So obviously, you have to be more serious and more strict in New York, but maybe not so much in Texas and Florida.
I mean, I don't. But then the idea in which then you just there has to be some sort of restrictions, right? Otherwise, then people are just going to congregate, and then Texas is going to. Then 6 months from now, we're just talking about Texas as what New York was, right? And then I'm fine, and I think people have to realize that like the reality is not really going to change until there's some kind of vaccine or it's completely eradicated, right? Like, and I don't quite think everyone's realized that yet, nor do they have the tools to sort of realize that, right? Like in the sense that if I'm a hair cutter, for example, and my business is still closed, I can't survive, right?
Yeah.
They're giving me $1,200 to, here's 1,200. It's like, what's that it's like, I don't do anything. Those questions have to be answered, but I don't think, I still think that caution is the.
I agree with you. I think that people
Absolutely,
have
yeah.
lost. I think people have lost trust. Like the government.
Oh yeah, I mean that's a whole other story.
But I think that goes along with whichever camp you're gonna fall into. I think no matter which camp you fall, I think you're right on both ends because the government. We had Surgeon General Jerome Adams say a month and a half ago, "Don't wear masks." Now he's saying wear a mask. Then we had the CDC saying, "Well, this is not a big concern. Flu is more of a concern." Now they're telling everybody like everybody's going to die. We had Alex Norcia tell us that vitamin E acetate was in THC cartomizers 3 months before the CDC, and guess what? The CDC to this day continues to say it's vaping and cigarettes. It's like I think that we've lost the trust. So if it's bad, tell us it's bad. Give everybody enough money to live on, and we'll stay home.
No, I think that's fair. And like in New York, for example, like you can have your opinion on Andrew Cuomo, but like he's very very on top of it, right? He does daily press briefings. You get the sense that you're constantly being updated. You know what's going on.
Yeah.
You're aware of the sort of rhythm of things when you can go out, what you can do. I can only speak for New York, but I don't know if that's true in other
not so much down here in the
other
South
places.
But, yeah.
But so but what Dimitri said, like blown out of proportion too. I think we also see the power of media and what media has the capability of doing. If media wants, media puts the fear of God in you. If media wants, media divides this country like no politician can, right? What if media were to report the same way media is reporting on COVID right now, right?
Sure.
What if media were to report on smoking related deaths, right? So media were to put up the maps and the scary numbers and to trace the deaths per day, right? What if media were to look at smoking related deaths the same way they look at COVID? Would that not have a positive effect? Would not media maybe get more people to quit smoking? You're
probably right.
I don't like the power that they have and their ability to change perception, even if it's an incorrect perception.
That's fair. I would say, I think the mistrust in that institution is also as high as perhaps the CDC at this point. I we could talk forever about this, but I think the idea in which people just aren't well informed or correctly informed is a large part of both problems we're talking about, right? When people there should just be very clear rules and across the country about what we should be allowed to do, how we should be able to do it, how far apart we should be from each other, that we should be wearing masks, that restaurants should operate at this capacity. And there should be very clear sort of dictums about how harmful vaping is, how harmful cigarettes are, how to quit these things. And there's just not.
Yeah, absolutely right. By the way, don't forget to follow Alex on Twitter. His Twitter handle is @Alex Norcia. And of course, don't forget the hashtag #FireThisG and resign Jerome Adams. I can't go throughout a show without taking a jab at this guy. It's just if like him, he's in the top of my list of health officials that I blame for people dying. And it's a grim time in 2020 in the most civilized country in the world that we have people in these positions that's neither a general and neither a surgeon, by the way, taking this position of Surgeon General, this prestige position that doesn't know his head from his ass. It just pisses me off. You don't have to answer that, Alex.
Alex, Dimitri has a massive love affair going on with Jerome. I don't know if you know. Truly beautiful. Truly.
He will be fired. Mark my words, my friend. He will be fired.
I think CDC should change their name to ZDC.
Yeah, what is
Zero Disease Control.
Yeah,
right.
That's right.
Because I don't think they did their job at all.
Oh, Alex, once again, my friend, thanks so much for
Thanks, guys. I
for
appreciate
coming
it.
on. You're just one of these nice, glimpses in the chaos of what the vapors go through on a daily basis. So
It was a
we really
pleasure.
appreciate
I had a great time.
And thanks to 𝗏𝗏 as well too for giving you the platform. And we
Thank
look
you.
forward to anybody that you're going to reach out into this community is going to be helpful to you. I guarantee
Sweet.
you
Thanks,
that.
man.
Hey, I understand. I understand that it took a little bit of coercing to get Alex on the show. We had to get like approval from Vice. Now, is that
Yeah.
Vice? I had to get Vice. I had to get approval from Surgeon General. I had to call the Trump administration and all that. It's,
I have to go. I have to go through the comms department. It's just
yeah, of course.
now, is that because Dimitri's Greek or because the name of the show is the DP show?
I would say it almost had everything to do with them having no idea what was going on. I explained it to them. They were cool.
Yeah, they were cool.
Awesome.
They were cool. It was just unusual for me to go through that process. I felt like I was like, oh, what did I do now? But no, it was cool, and it was a great chat and very informative. And I'm getting great comments on Twitter about you being on. So that's what's really, really important. So thanks a lot for coming on, and you guys stay tuned. We're gonna have something here to play for you. And Alex, have a wonderful evening and stay safe.
Thanks, man. Thanks, guys.
Thanks so much, Alex. Thank you,
guys. I appreciate it. See you.
These are uncertain times, and we know they are uncertain times by the somber and serious music we've selected for this commercial. We use the word uncertain because it's far scarier than difficult or challenging, and should make this commercial sound much more serious, even though we are certain that this will eventually be behind us. But for now, let's milk it as much as we can. In these uncertain times, we want you to know that we're here for you. Not only are we here for you, but we also care about you. We care about you more than you may know. You had no idea how much we care about you. A couple of months ago, we really didn't give a shit about you. But in these uncertain times, we care. Not only do we care about you, but we also care about our frontline and medical workers. So much so that we're donating stuff to them. We've never done this before, and after these uncertain times are over, we probably never will again. We've also made some changes in these uncertain times to get as much money from you as we possibly can. We now offer 0% financing, free delivery, complete disinfecting of our products and people, and curbside pickup. We even offer contact-free delivery, which is something we've always wanted because we never really wanted to deal with you anyway. As a matter of fact, nothing ever comes in contact with our product, except for the box it comes in and the person who put it in that box. In fact, in addition to contact-free delivery, we now offer contact-free ordering. Just think about your order and it will be there for you. So remember, if you do have any money left, please spend it with us, because we are here for you in these uncertain times, and we care about you until we don't have to anymore.
Love that. By the way, if people don't know what the hell that was, okay, so that was it was like a little spoof commercial that I did, and it was like every commercial that's on television right now. Here's the problem: my timing and Dimitri's timing is really impeccable. In other words, it sucks monkey balls. Okay. I put that out on my Facebook page pretty much like the day before my birthday. So it got like way buried down. It got way buried down with all of the birthday messages. Thank you very much. I hope I didn't embarrass myself too much on the birthday show.
Oh, no, not at all.
Okay. But I'll go ahead. Oh, Jesus Christ.
No, you didn't. You didn't at all. You were good.
Actually, that's not bad for 51. I think it's not bad for 51. I've been working out a lot lately. I really have. We could talk about my bicycle adventure today.
We will.
But I'll go ahead and repost that. I'll repost that on my Facebook page for anybody who would like to hear that.
Yeah. So the whole idea was, and the audio was a little bit distorted. It's supposed to be like me sitting in front of the television and this commercial comes on. I didn't want to make it like it's like really set up. It's supposed to be like out of the blue. So I used the audio from Phil to shoot that yesterday. But anyway, it was a lot of fun. So
who scanned that? Who did the screenshot? Is that you? Was that you?
Of course not.
It wasn't you?
No, somebody else did and send it to me.
Oh Christ, that means it's out of
Oh,
it's out of your
I
control.
deleted the videos because I think that it's, I don't want those videos to be out there. They were supposed to be a fun night. But
good.
all of a sudden, I mean, I just started getting all kinds of stuff like this in my mailbox. I don't know what's going on. I really don't. I mean, you can tell that you're drunk here, but a drunk Trump impersonator by 𝗵𝗶𝗀 was even better. It was just
my God, no, I wasn't drunk. I was shit faced. But you know what? I think we needed that. And I think a lot of people, the recovery was horrible. The hangover was horrible. But I think a lot of people hung out and had fun with that.
Yeah,
and
it was fun.
We should really do that every now and then. And thank you for putting that together because. I was here, by myself for my birthday.
Yes.
There's no screen on right now. I don't see a screen.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. There's like no screen. It just says edit.
My bad. Yeah. Don't worry about it. The stream is going out.
Much better. But yeah, I mean, so thank you for putting that together so quick.
Oh, my pleasure.
It was actually wound up being a pretty fun day.
It was. And I was drunk. I got really drunk too, as well. And we were like on for like 8 hours. It was ridiculous. I was going to do like 2 hours, and I finished the whole bottle of Johnny Walker Black. Then I broke into the Dewar's, and I haven't drank. I don't know. I mean, I haven't drank at all during this lockdown. I have a glass of wine with my dinner or something like that, but I haven't like drank. We're not playing poker on Monday, so I don't drink on Mondays. So it didn't take much for me, buddy. It got me. I got there quick.
Yeah. Wow, did I drink a lot? It was there was pain. There was like physical pain the next day, but it was a great way to blow off some steam. So thank you for that.
Yeah, it was good. Hey, listen, I got a little special segment here.
What do you got?
So I've got these comments.
Mm-hmm.
These are comments that were left on the last episode of the DP show, and I just picked out 3 or 4 of them that were kind of funny or entertaining. For us to see, and I might start doing this on a regular basis. I don't know, but the first one is the DP discussion at the beginning reminded me of the penis, the personal electronic nicotine inhalation system, and of course that was the goal of the DP discussion. It's supposed to be a play on words. What we're doing is we're clickbaiting you, right? Because we are old. And we need to keep up with the times. So to do that, you need drama and you need clickbaiting. So we are effectively clickbaiting you by naming the show the DP Show. That way we get the younger generation to come and join us.
That's part of our problem. Maybe we're not involved in enough drama.
Yes, that's absolutely part of our problem. We need more drama.
Yeah, but that would also cheapen us, though, too. I mean, really not us.
It is what it is. It is what it is. Here's an interesting one that we can expand on. I heard Dimi state a couple of times, matter of factly, that the federal government would bail out states. The problem with that assumption is that many of these states, with their hands out, were grossly financially mismanaged long before the current virus tragedy. And as a taxpayer, I don't want to see any of my hard-earned money bail these opportunists out of their failed policies and programs. Great show and discussion overall, but I'm just rubbed the wrong way. I now have to go for my daily blow dryer nasal therapy antiviral session. Thanks, feeling Dimi. And you know what? You're absolutely right. But you should also be grossly, pissed off because our tax money is being spent now on studying youth vaping and the FDA giving grants to Stanton Glands and our own money being used to shut down the industry where we're fighting to keep vaping alive. And you're absolutely right. I don't want to take away from your comment because I think it was very on point. A lot of these states have mismanaged money for a very long time. But if it wasn't for the DP show, would you have known about the blow dryer nasal treatment?
No, but probably not. I mean, we could have saved lives. We could have saved lives there. Even more lives than we've already saved with vaping. We're just lifesavers, man. We really
absolutely are. Right. You said it right. All right.
Hey, can you answer the phone? So, who is it? Rick can relax for a second.
Rick, who?
I don't know. Do you have a call waiting?
Nope. There's nobody on the board.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay.
There's nobody on the board.
I will never.
If you want to call in, you have a few minutes left. The number is 215-383-5752. We'd welcome your call anytime. This was a very interesting comment, and this is all you.
Okay, let me hear it.
Mr. 𝗵𝗶𝗀, vape god, tour guide in Italy, and WWE wrestler. The career opportunities for Phil seem endless.
It's really true. I'm an extremely diverse person, and to expand on that a little bit, there is something that I might do. See, I don't know if I want to give it in. I don't know if I want to
give it in or give it up.
Give it up. Give it up. I don't know if I want to give it up because Dimitri did a live cooking show, and actually Dimitri and I have done this before from this house, right?
Yes.
But Dimitri did a live cooking presentation. He made 𝗬𝗏𝗂𝗀, right? Now, me being the Italian that I am, I am considering doing my own live cooking demonstration.
Yeah.
So, of course, with an Italian flair. Answering all your questions about Italy, about pasta, about sauces, really just everything. So
I would tune into that.
You would tune into that?
By the way, today I made chicken 𝗬𝗏𝗂𝗀𝗧𝗏𝗂𝗍. You want to see how
really?
that turned out?
You were able to get chicken? How did that happen?
Chicken 𝗬𝗏𝗂𝗍𝗏𝗂 with a Greek salad today for the kids, and they absolutely loved it.
Wow.
It was delicious. But you know what really pisses me off? I was doing the Facebook live on the pork.
I know.
Live,
here it comes. Yeah.
And it seems like Dan Donahue is right. Like I can't fart without being criticized in this industry. It's just unbelievable. But
your farts are brutal.
It's true. It's true.
Okay.
But,
go ahead.
But I was doing the Facebook live, and then this chick comes on from Greece. And literally everything that I'm doing, like I've been in the restaurant business for 25 years. Okay, I can cook. I think everybody that's had my cooking will agree that I can cook.
Outstanding.
But the point
I agree. Yes.
Thank you. But the point is that I make meals in a certain way, my way, right? So even 𝗬𝗏𝗂𝗀𝗏𝗂𝗀, I have my twist on it, whatever. But my kids love my cooking. It tastes really good. So I was making 𝗬𝗏𝗂𝗀𝗏𝗂𝗀, and everything I was doing, according to this chick, was wrong. And she kept saying, like, I do it this way. I fix it this way. I don't do that. I do this. And I'm like, where does it say in the title of this Facebook Live, come and tell me how to make fucking 𝗬𝗏𝗂𝗀𝗏𝗂𝗍? You make your own fucking 𝗬𝗏𝗂𝗀𝗏𝗂𝗀𝗏𝗂. You let me make my 𝗬𝗏𝗂𝗀𝗏𝗂𝗀𝗏𝗀𝗀, okay? I'm eating it. It's not like I'm cooking to eat you. I'm not going to Facebook feed you, because if I could, I'd be giving you shit. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
This is good. This is drama. This will attract people.
I know. I should say the name too. That would really attract people.
You should.
It was Grim Green. There you go. It was Grim Green. It was Grim Green that came on and did that. Shame on you, Grim Green.
It was? Oh my God. No, that's real drama now. That's real drama.
It wasn't, but that would be fun.
That is huge drama.
That would be fun.
But I find it very interesting that you made chicken 𝗬𝗏𝗂𝗀𝗏𝗂𝗀.
Yes. Well, I made pork a couple days ago.
So you were able to find chicken, is what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
You found some chicken out there?
Yeah, it was chicken breasts. I told Connie she went and got some today.
Really? Okay, because I feel very bad for my cat.
Why?
Well, because his temptations, right?
Yeah.
These are a tasty chicken flavor, and I'm worried about chicken not being available anymore. So I'm saving it for myself now at this point.
They're delicious.
Yeah, they're very good. He likes them. I mean, if he likes them, they must be good. Right?
Question from Ali. Hey guys, sorry I didn't watch the whole live show. Do you know where I can place my order for Anakin Iris 2 RTA? We'll keep you posted. We don't know. That's the short answer. Hopefully, here in the next couple of weeks, we'll start seeing him at Vapor DNA.
The good news, as a matter of fact, during this show, I know WeChat is going off, and Kathy has sent the shipping information, right? So they're on their way. So the final package, the final market ready package is on its way. As soon, probably the day that I get it, I've been holding off on this. I'll do like an unboxing, and I'll do a first look, the same way I did it for the Zenith and the Zenith Pro and all that, and the Zlide, so that we have something out there on how to build it, how to work with it. We've already done the tutorial videos. The tutorial videos are all ready to go, because if platform product, inside the product there's a QR code. You scan it, that'll take you to tutorial videos with the products, and we've done those, but we haven't done a first look because it hasn't been available. But now there are some limited numbers starting to get out there, so we'll do something.
Yeah. All right. The last and final comment, which of course I save always the
best for last.
The best for last. You're gonna love this. You're gonna love this.
Here we go. Here it comes.
Pat Bed says, I prefer the smoke show, which he said it wrong with. I prefer the smoke show and the reviews. Yes. They're more informative. I don't understand the usefulness of the PD show.
Right.
Why, Phil? Why the PD show? He doesn't understand it, Phil.
I don't know. For the same reason that I continue to get messages saying, "Why aren't you doing the reviews anymore, Phil? You need to do review. Like you need to do like four reviews every day, like all the other reviewers are doing. You got to do more reviews, Phil. We love the reviews, and we don't understand the Smoker Show and the DP Show. So the Smoker Show is probably one of the most
smoke show. It's the smoke show. It's the smoke show.
That's right. The smoke show.
Smoke show.
And not the DP show, the PD show.
Actually,
that's police department, right? Isn't that the PD show?
Mm-hmm.
The smoke show is probably one of the most important things that we've done, guys. I mean, it really is. What we're trying to do with the Smoker Show is trying to get smokers to try vaping, trying to break it down and make it easy for smokers. As a matter of fact, we have a really good smoker show coming up. Even the vape shops. I mean, you think about it, the vape shops should be like fucking jerking off to the goddamn Smoker Show. We're trying to create more business for you guys. We're trying to save more lives. We're trying to dispel the myths when people say, if you vape, you're vaping antifreeze. No. I mean, that's some of the stuff that we're doing on the Smoker Show. So
you know what I find interesting about this comment is like, so he watched it.
Yeah.
Why did you continue to watch? I mean, I've been on a YouTube roller coaster, Phil. Let me tell you something. I've been fascinated with restorations lately. Have you seen these on YouTube? Like they find like old Zippos and old toy cars, and a guy takes him and he goes.
I watch a similar guy. Yeah, okay.
Dude, let me tell you something. It's not like I'm constantly. It's like I go into this wormhole of YouTube. So I start watching something, then I see a suggested video, and I click it, and then I start going down this wormhole. And then 8 hours later, I'm still watching it. So the other day, I watched an hour and 20-minute restoration of a 1961 lawnmower. I don't even cut my own fucking grass. Okay. And I sat there and I watched it. But to me, it's like, if you don't find it, why do you continue to watch? Number one. Number two, this is what I wanted to say. And this was kind of the announcement that we wanted to say. We did mention a few months ago at the Smoker Show that we wanted to do on the Tuesdays that we don't do a Smoker Show, more advanced vaping. And we have been working on this, right? So hopefully by the next DP show, you are going to see some reviews of new product by me and Phil, kind of like dueling reviews. Of course, I'll do more direct lung, and Phil will do more MTL, and then we'll probably do MTL or RDL together, and maybe do some dueling reviews. So what we're trying to do with a DP show is we don't want it to be all vape related, a variety of topics, and also gives us the freedom, if you enjoy our company, to listen to our opinions and our rants and our bitching and our bromance. And this is what it's about. It's about us being on here on YouTube and on Facebook and being all together and having a good time.
Yep.
The beauty about this is that you don't have to fucking watch it. All you gotta do is just click X or click next or go to the next button.
Yeah, but you know what? People are not satisfied. People are not satisfied unless they complain first.
Yeah, you're right.
It makes people feel better. Don't you know that?
You're right about that.
Like, you think about this. Think about this. Before there was such a thing as social media, think about this. You could be in a bad mood walking down the street, and I'd never know it. I would probably just treat you the same way I treat you all the time, and you might treat me the same way you treat me all the time. But now that there's social media, if I'm in a bad mood, I'm gonna let everybody fucking know about it.
Right. You're right.
I'm gonna tell. If something pisses me off, I'm gonna let everybody know about it, because that's what I can do now with social media. That is why I have said over and over and over again, social media is one of the most amazing technologies that we have today, because it gives everybody a voice. And social media is one of the worst things in the world, because it gives everybody a voice. Right? I mean, you think about it. Like, how did we know? Like, why is it so important for us to like? I guess misery loves company. That's what it is, right?
Yes, I guess so.
You said. And by the way, like some people are asking here, this is like the third time. Like the DP show should be Grim, but Grim solo. Please bring Grim in on the DP show. Please add Grim to the video DP show tonight. I tell you what, go fuck yourself, Grim Green. He's got his own fucking shows. Like, how many shows does he have? Number one, how many? Seriously. Number two, when was the last time Dimitri and I got invited down to his shows? That's number two. And number three, fuck you guys. Where are the super chats? Seriously, come on.
That's right. Just fucking tear it up. Go get a bottle of Jack Daniels and start drinking.
Yeah, Nick, I'm
seriously.
kidding, by the way.
Obviously, we're kidding. And we'd love to have Nick on the show.
Absolutely, we should.
The problem is that every time I message
because
Nick,
I want to debate him. I want to debate him on Star Wars.
Sure.
Right.
Which is going to make it, I'm going to fall asleep. So I'm going to have to put automation on the board here to move.
And I want to rub it in his face that I was right about Ray.
The problem that I have with Nick is every time I send him a message, it takes him 3 days to reply to me. So I have to like time it. So if I
I know.
on the next
true.
DP show,
That is true.
you know, I have to give him like a month in advance. But yeah, we'd love to have Nick on. We'll invite him to come on and we can chat sometime. Absolutely. The DP show is all about everything. It could be about anything. We can have anybody. It's just that what we're trying to do is break out a little bit, you know, like having Alex today. Alex, I think, was great bringing on our platform because he's not a vapor. He's not in this community. We hear it all the time from within the community, and I think this regurgitation of information is kind of deteriorates us a little bit, right? If we keep hearing from Gregory Connolly, we keep hearing from VTA, it's the same over and all we're saying is stuff that everybody knows, and we're saying it amongst us. So we're trying to break out a little bit from that, trying to have some different guests on, and it's going to be about everything. It's not going to be just about vaping.
That's
so
right.
if you don't want to hear about, you know, the way that Phil shaves his balls, no, that was on. By the way, that was on the on your.
That was the birthday show.
That was the birthday show. I'm sorry, I got him confused. But if you don't want to hear about those kind of issues, yeah, absolutely, you can tune out. By the way,
yes,
Phil,
Craig, thank you,
Craig. Let me
Any
tell you
type of
something.
insect
Let me
has
tell
a
you something.
Oh yeah. Go ahead, please.
This shit scares me.
This is
man.
important. This is
This
important stuff.
forget about the fucking coronavirus. That's all.
That's
I gotta
true.
say, okay, forget about the coronavirus.
bite in the U.S., and its sting is strong enough to kill a human. Chris Martinez tells us about so-called murder hornets and what experts say they're hunting.
It looks like something out of a horror film with a name to match. This giant insect, nicknamed the murder hornet, is making a new home here in the U.S.
It comes straight out of Hollywood in terms of what you think an evil alien might look like.
Biological sciences professor James Nye says the invasive hornet species, which originates in Asia, is especially troubling for honeybees. The hornets hunt for food in beehives and can wipe a hive out in just a few hours, decapitating the bees in the process. An infestation could be devastating for beekeepers. The giant hornets have caused millions of dollars worth of crop damage in France.
These types of predators are largely generalists, so they're not only looking for honeybees, they'll be looking for native bumblebees or anything else that they can kind of catch.
But
by the way, I just want to say something. He is a biologist, and he's not complaining about the same microphone that I've been telling you to get all this fucking time, okay? I just want to put that out there. His microphone is hanging right in front of his face, all right? Back
and it's annoying as fuck. Yeah, go ahead.
Back to the story.
what makes the hornets even more terrifying is the threat they pose to humans. Their stings can deliver nearly 7 times the amount of venom as a honeybee, strong enough to kill, though they rarely attack unprovoked.
They are actually farmed as a delicacy in Asia, and
lovely.
it is something for those farmers they have to be very careful of.
The insect was first sighted in Washington state in December, and scientists say the hornet's life cycle begins in April after the queen wakes up from hibernation. State officials there have set up traps in hopes of slowing their spread. Chris Martinez, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Those motherfuckers are huge. Okay, just a couple of things. Number one. How in the fuck did this bee get here? Like, did it get in a plane? Did it take a? How did this bee?
Seriously.
How did it fly? I mean, we fly to China. It takes us 15 hours by plane, and we want to kill ourselves. Okay, how did this bee? Can this bee possibly? I mean, if let's say, how fast does a bee travel?
Bro, planted, bro. Come on, conspiracy.
The 5G is the 5G.
Come on.
Number 2.
Yes, go ahead.
Number 2, I will take coronavirus. I have an absolute fear of bees. I hate bees. When I was young, I got attacked by a whole swarm of bees. I'll never forget. I was up in the village where my father is from, and I was playing outside, and a kid just hit something and just like, I don't know. What seemed to me like a million bees, I might be a little bit exaggerating. I don't know. It might have been 1,000 bees. I felt like a million bees were chasing me, and I have such a panic fear of bees. Okay, now take that and make them look like they fucking came out of the movie Aliens. That shit scares me. That scares me more than the coronavirus. And the third thing I want to say is, like, what else is going to happen this year? I mean, literally, what else should we be expecting?
Yeah, well, first of all, I would just like to say this. I'm not concerned with those bees at all. Do you know why?
Why?
Do you know why?
Why?
because CBD cures their sting.
That's right. I didn't forget about that.
Yeah, well, CBD cures everything, dude. I'm surprised that CBD, they have not made claims that CBD cures COVID-19 yet. I'm blown away by that. Blown away.
I'm sure there'll be a CBD. It's going to be called
So I'm not concerned.
Anti-Murder Hornet CBD.
I'm not certain. But can I say this? Can I say this?
Please.
2020, can you please go fuck yourself?
Yeah, for real.
Seriously, for real, right?
For real.
Oh my God.
$2 super chat from Bob Sharkley. Thank you, sir. It's not about the money.
Thank you very much.
It's not about the money.
Yeah, I know. I was just bullshitting you, Bob. I was totally bullshit. And besides, next time, more than $2, you motherfucker.
And a $2, a 2 pound super chat from Greg Dewart. Thanks, buddy. We absolutely are rich. We're rich with friends like you. 636.
That's right, Leah. Florida, a lot of lizards. Look, see, you fucked up again.
My bad. Hold on. 636.
636.
Yep.
Hey.
Yep, I'm here.
Who's this?
Hi.
Hey, it's Shannon.
Hey, Shannon. How are you?
Hi, Shannon.
Good. I wanted to let Phil know that I opened up the mini Proton, and I love it.
Ah, good. I'm so happy that you like it. Well, so I did ask Shannon. We were talking. Was that the birthday show? Or was the birthday show, right?
Yeah, the birthday show.
Yeah, it was the birthday show.
You had the 45 insert on the front of your shirt.
That's right. The picture, Dimitri, the picture with me and Donald Trump, the Donald Trump wig. That's the cutoff that I was wearing, and it had the 45. So I did ask Shannon if she was a mouth-to-lung vapor or if she was a direct lung vapor. There you go. There's the photo right there. And Shannon told me that she was a direct lung vapor. So the Proton mini kits that I had here did have the direct lung tank. So I sent her one of those kits, and I sent her a lovely Dimitri pink color. And I'm thrilled that you like it.
Oh, that's so sweet of you. It's your birthday. You're supposed to get presents. What are you doing giving out presents?
I love it.
I did. I gave out a present on my birthday. How about that?
That is amazing.
Well, you know why? Because
do you remember the tower thing that you used to have to put on your turntable for you could stack a bunch of 45s on top of it and it would drop one down at a time?
Mm-hmm. I sure do. It had the little metal thing on the side that would go in and one of them would fall down. I absolutely sure did. And you know what? I think that's why I gave it away to her, because when I had that cut off on, that symbol meant a lot to me because of my history and my experience with vinyl, because I was a DJ, right? So when I had that on, I was hoping,
right?
Because believe it or not, a lot of kids would not even know what the hell that is, right? They'd be like, it's some kind of weird satanic symbol. Who the fuck knows, right?
I think the fact that she had to see you without your shirt off, I think that deserves to get a Proton.
Come on,
for sure. I mean, absolutely.
I think I could see. I think I could see my abs there. I think I saw my abs.
I appreciate it, but I've got a bunch of advocacy work to do here. They just came up with a bill in Missouri, SB 1085.
Yeah. I've read about it. Yeah, another flavor ban, and it's another RGR bill. RGR is behind that, unfortunately.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
unbelievable.
I'm going to do my part.
Keep fighting the good fight, Shannon. I think you're going to win there. You got some good folks in Missouri. Anything that we can do to help, please let us know.
Oh, not a problem. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Shannon. Stay safe. Stay away from those murder hornets, those fucking bitches. I mean, stay away from him. They scare me, okay?
Did you see where the one crawled inside the honeybee nest? And it got one of the honeybees, and then all of the rest of the honeybees attacked it and killed it?
Oh, no. Don't now I have to get more bees to fight. I have to get bees to fight the murder hornets? Oh, my God. What is going on?
Honeybees.
Wasn't this a big deal just a few years ago? Not with the murder hornets, but weren't killer bees supposed to kill all of the honeybees? Wasn't that supposed to happen?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't want to hear bees anymore.
Okay, I'm sorry.
All right, Shannon.
Okay, I'll let you go.
Evening, thanks for calling in.
Hey, Dimitri, say goodnight to Janine because Janine's leaving, and give her a little
sweetheart. I used to love you, but after what you said in the chat about the watermelon peach.
What'd she say? What'd she say about?
Yeah, she prefers watermelon peach over the.
Well, there you go. I'll give you a second one. Not only will I do this for you, Janine, and this is also for the email that Janine sent. Remember,
that was a very, very sweet story.
It was a very sweet email, right?
Very touching.
Not only will I do this for Janine, but I will also do this.
That's creepy as fuck, Janine. Don't wait. That will give you nightmares tonight.
There you go, baby.
That's exactly what you see when you open up the back door of a white van. It's exactly the image that comes out. Anyway,
I know you, Bob. I know you were joking. Come on.
Yeah,
Bob.
Bob, come on,
We're
dude.
all friends here. We love you guys.
Come on, look at us. We joke.
Yeah,
all the
I know,
time,
Janine.
but
You can
come
still love Dimitri and hate his flavor. That's okay. I mean, look, Janine, it's not as good as the #1 selling watermelon peach. But it's okay. It's
This
okay.
is true. This is true. By the way, did you guys follow Alex Norcia on Twitter? Please do it. I would really appreciate if you guys gave him a follow. He's a great guy, and I'll save it for the end. Okay. The 𝗂𝗵𝗶𝗹 𝗕𝘂𝗂𝗧𝗑. My Greek people are waking up. My Greek.
When did we turn Greek? What happened?
My Greek
We
people
just
are
got Greek
waking
all
up.
of a sudden.
Yeah. So
it was bad enough. I was trying to watch your 𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗀 show, and every now and then I'd be like, "What? What did he say? I don't know what he said."
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. Like when I get the Aries, I need to do a Greek version of it, like in Greek language as well too. So you'll do the American version, I'll do the Greek version, and
that's a good idea because me doing the Greek version would just be ridiculous.
You know what would be funny if you send me your video and I dub it in Greek language, and I send you my video and you dub it in the American language, but during it we criticize what you're doing on camera. Like, nope.
That would be funny.
That would be funny.
That would be funny. But here's the problem, though. If I send you my video, you're going to understand what I'm saying. If you send me your video, I'll have no idea what you're saying, and you would have to translate it for me. No. And I would not trust the translation.
No, what you need to do is you need to base it off what you're seeing on video. It's basically like, and this is another thing I wanted to tell you when you're doing your close-ups in your review videos. You can just dub over it. Meaning, shoot the video and then just dub your voice over that video. That way, you don't have to talk while you're doing it at the same time.
Yeah, but then it's
more work.
It's a two-step process. It's more work. Yeah, I don't want to fucking do more work. Seriously, at my age, more work is not what I want.
Is it okay to mention a site that's closing soon? Sure.
What site is closing soon?
What site is closing? Absolutely.
Let us know.
Let us know, and we'll bring it up.
Is it safe for work? I think that would be a good idea. That would be a good idea. Like if you do the Greek version, and I just basically, I dub it, but I make everything up.
Yes.
I make everything up, right? Because I won't actually know what you're saying, but I'll make everything up. Oh,
that would be funny.
That's a really good idea.
Hey,
that
listen,
would be fun.
Who said about the 1 ohm RDL? I am using the 1 ohm RDL right now, and it is delicious. 27 watts. That's what I'm using on the Zenith Pro. I got it right.
I am using, I think, 2.8s and a 1.6, and I still have the little Precisio that I just did the review. What? What?
I'm feeling very good today because I got my hair cut and I shaved, and I feel like a human being again. The haircut really was therapeutic for me today.
That's that's up for for discussion. Did you play with this osmosis?
No.
What is this? It does something really cool. It does something that I have yet to see. When you turn it on, right, for the first time, when there's new batteries in it and you turn it on, it says, "Are your batteries married?"
Oh.
And then you have to say like yes or no. A little yes or no. I think it's really cool.
I think it's cool, but I think they could have picked a better terminology.
Yeah, no, I understand. Maybe it's because like I've been saying, like, make sure your batteries are married and they're together. I mean, remember I even used to do the little like get the two batteries together. Remember, right? So maybe it's because of me. And here's something else that why don't we see more of this with devices? It's got a charging plate.
Yeah, that's cool.
Right?
Yeah,
and it's not like wireless charging. It's just got like contacts on the bottom.
Yeah, I think yeah. Well, I mean, vapors have this thing, like anything that's not standardized, they start bitch. But anything that's proprietary, there's like a huge uproar to it. So I understand why companies are hesitant to do that. It's simply because you've seen devices that came out with proprietary connections, proprietary chargers, they just never made it. Vapors don't gravitate to those products for whatever reason it is.
Totally agree with that, right? Yeah. I totally agree with that. However, I mean, this still takes a USB cable.
That's right. Yes.
Right. And this one takes a USB cable. I understand now. Now it's proprietary. I understand that. Right. But I mean, I can plug this into any USB directly around the house, and then when I go to bed at night, I can do that
directly. So, but that's an extra cost because it's not
okay. Understand. I understand it's an extra cost. Right. It's also a convenience. So for some people, that convenience is worth the cost, right? It's just that, you know, it's another accessory
I
to have.
can't wait till we start doing dual reviews because I do.
Yeah,
believe
because I'll be right about everything.
In some things, I think that I will bring you down, and I think in some things you're going to bring me down. But I think this is exactly why we need to start doing dual reviews, and it's going to be very, very exciting. Who cut my hair? Sheer Bliss Salon, Kim. She's been cutting my hair for 15 years. Very, very excited. Oh, and I took my daughter with me today. She just wanted to get like a little cut, like a buzz cut underneath her, you know, on the backside of her hair and all that, just to see what kind of guy I am. I'm not trying to be to pat myself on the back, but I went first. Then my daughter wait outside, and then when I was done, you know, the whole process, take temperature. She has to put the mask on, and she goes inside, get her hair cut, and then we're good done. I gave her $100. Because it's small business, and I was like, you know, you've been out of work for 6 weeks, and we need to support small businesses. And I want you to keep cutting my hair. So
yeah, that's terrific. And I've heard a lot of stories about that. Like somebody gave like a waiter $1,000 tip. I love to hear stories like that. Yeah. What is Craig talking about? Philip, you have got Matt's cog in yet. What does that mean?
I don't know. That must be some kind of a Scottish thing that we need to be translated.
Craig,
explain. The cog. That's Matt Cully's atomizer. No, we don't have it yet.
No.
We do not have it yet.
No, please, they're gonna let the Aries go out before Matt's.
Absolutely. Oh my God. What else? What else? Oh, by the way, today I did my first DIY. And
it was a fucking nightmare.
Listen, I resent that because it tastes delicious. I did a very, very good job. Well, I didn't. Jennifer did a good job because she came up with the recipe. I did a good job of putting the ingredients in the bottle.
Not really.
And I created.
No, you kind of didn't.
I did.
Well, if you did, why during my entire bike ride was the Facebook dinging?
So
why?
I made a few mistakes, but not mistakes that are gonna they're not like tragic mistakes. It's not like nicotine overdose or whatever. I followed the recipe, but unfortunately, what happened is she gave me the recipe, and it says change your input because the recipe was for a 30 ml bottle, and I wanted to make a 120 ml bottle. So I put in the calculator 120 ml. But what I didn't notice is that the viscosity was 70-30 VG/PG, and the milligrams was 6 milligram. But when I realized that I hadn't put inside the VG and the PG, I had just put the nicotine inside. So I made the adjustments, and 50-50. I did. It's my first time. It's my first time. And the other thing that I did wrong, which I didn't know, is I took the syringe, and I put it in, the pineapple, and then I squeezed the pineapple in the bottle, and then I took it out, and then I put it in the raspberry, and I squeezed it out, and then I put it in. So I used the same syringe across. So the raspberry might be tasting a little bit like pineapple, I think. But it doesn't make it. It's all gonna be mixed up. It's like me cooking. Like I never measure. I was like, put a little bit in it. Put a little bit in it. Whatever comes out. Whatever came out is delicious. It's like a pineapple.
I'm so happy.
It's a pineapple, citrus, raspberry, menthol, like heavy menthol. And Jennifer, listen, let me tell you something. Shout out to Bull City Flavors. Shout out to Heartland Vapes, and shout out to Jennifer and Wayne and all the DIY community has been so loving and caring. Like everybody wants to give us information and help us. It kind of reminds me of our community in the early days. So shout out to them. But it was a nice experiment, and I think we're going to do it live on the Smoker Show. I think it's going to be very, very interesting.
We are. We're absolutely going to do. We're going to do a mixing live show. I do want to thank Bull City Flavors too. I'll go ahead and show my little screen right there. They got me my order pretty quick, and they threw in a couple of extras there. I appreciate it. I haven't got my order from Heartland yet. And do me a favor,
come
Hunters,
in today or tomorrow.
Hunters, do me a favor. I want you to put after this for me. That's what you have to do. Hunters, put that for me after this. See, like when you say DIY is so simple. For me, you got to put for me, right? Because for some people, it might not be so simple.
I didn't see what site you posted. I'm sorry.
You always have to remember that. That's even when I do my reviews, I have to think about everybody, right? I try to think about everybody. At least I try.
Which site are you talking about, Tennessee Gardener? I don't see it on there.
Where?
He's talking about the site that was closing. I don't see the link to it.
Oh, what site?
I don't know.
That's right. He said it was. Oh, and by the way, when we do that live mixing show, you will see the superior equipment that I have compared to Dimitri's.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, let me tell you.
And not that it matters at all.
Paul 𝗵𝗶𝗹 is a great guy. He's from Aussie. He was in your birthday, but you don't remember. But Paul says cross-contamination. The way you make it sound, Paul, you make it sound like really, really bad. You know, and granted, you might be right, but don't say that because now it sounds like I've created like a chemical spillage experiment in my. By the way, I've created a nice little DIY area back here. I got my bottles and all that. Somebody says syringes. I got syringes. Let me tell you something.
Let me see.
I up the yin yang. Look at this. I had a whole box of them.
Oh, look at that.
Look at all these syringes. I can start giving some shots here, like if you're.
The good news is, you can cure corona. All you have to do is inject some hand sanitizer into your veins. You'll be fine.
That's right. Fine. But anyway, I'm excited to try it, and listen, I hope it doesn't get to the point where we have to DIY our liquid. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. This tastes great. Okay, the one that I mixed today, and tomorrow because I use WS-23, tomorrow it's supposed to get even better. To me, it tastes fine. Like I could vape it, no issues whatsoever. It tastes great. The problem I have is like me going to a fine dining restaurant. Like I feel like I enjoy the the experience more when somebody else makes it for me. Number one. Number two, I'm not a micromanager. I've said this a million times. Phil knows we travel all the world. I'm not like this, like, oh, picky. Phil is very anal. Like Phil probably to mix. We're probably going to do a 4-hour show for the Smoker Show because that's how anal he is. Like me, I'm like, whatever. A little bit of this. Like, I just want to get shit. I'm efficient. I just want to get shit done. And that's not good in DIY. Like you need to have talent. You need to spend time with it and all that. But my today's experiment, I also ordered some flavorings to make Connie a liquid. I know what she likes as well too, and we'll see how it goes. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see.
I'm gonna make you a flavor.
Yeah, and then what we discussed about with Phil, press 1 if you want this to see this on the chat. All the chat, press 1 if you want to see this in the chat right now. 1. What we discussed doing is like, without using a calculator or somebody else's recipe, I make a flavor for Phil. I know what he likes, his flavor profile, and then Phil makes a flavor for me. He sends it to me, and blindly we vape it live on the show as well too, which could be a disaster.
It could be a disaster. It could also be a lot of fun.
But it also could also be a lot of fun.
Right.
So we're thinking about doing that as well too.
Now, okay, I'm not going to ask that question.
What's the question?
Well, the question is, are you going to make me a legitimate liquid, or are you going to try to make me sick?
Fun. It would be funny if I jacked off into it.
Well,
it would be funny, wouldn't it?
Oh my! Like I wasn't even going in that direction. I wasn't even thinking that. That's pretty.
Like rub one up in the recipe.
Oh my god!
Hey, listen, I caught your pee, motherfucker. Shut up. The least that you can do is like.
But you didn't vape my pee, though.
That's true. Not yet. But no, I think we should do legit. I don't know. We should do legit.
Okay, hold on. Dane has a good thing. I think either eliminating or limiting nic salt to a low milligram would solve almost all of our problems. I agree with you.
Yes.
I hate to say it, but I completely agree with you. Not only do I agree with you, Dane, but I also, because there are some people overseas that are fighting. They're fighting for higher nicotine strengths. Okay. I like Dimitri's idea where if you absolutely need a higher nicotine strength, you get a prescription for it, or you go see a doctor for it or something like that. But I truly believe that the nic cap overseas is holding the industry together. And I think if we had that nic cap here, I went away again, D. I think if we had that nic cap here, we wouldn't have half the issues that we have with the teen epidemic and the issues with Joule.
Yeah, the problem that you run into this here with that is that you have people that disagree with us. So there's no one win solution when it comes to this issue. What we do need is we need some scientific data on what levels of nicotine are sufficient for smokers to quit that doesn't cause initiation. Boom, problem solved. I think 20 is too low. I think 50 is too high, right? But to do that, we need to do clinical tests. Hear me out. Not us, the government. That's their responsibility, is to help their citizens. We need to do clinical tests based baseline with smokers and find what the majority of smokers would need to quit smoking. And also what the minimum would be so not to draw initiation of the product. And then once we find that magical formula, which is exactly the FDA comment that I submitted to the FDA, is that you need to find that formula. We do know that the very high nicotine levels are drawing initiation. And that's why the kids are gravitating to the product. And we do know that low milligram nicotine doesn't help people quit smoking, as proven here in America between 2016 and 2018. Yeah. So I can't tell you what the magic number is. And I definitely can't tell you where to lower it or where to make it high. And I'm not a regulator. But we can find that out by doing some testing and coming up with that magic formula, which I think is going to land right around 24 milligrams.
Yeah, and here's some interesting stuff too that we could talk about, and we're going to wrap this show up because I don't want it to go for too long. But so somebody said that Nic salt is not the problem; it's the concentration of nicotine. And you know what? I partially agree with that. Right? Because I understand like some people don't like the harshness of free-base nicotine, but cigarettes are harsh.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I think what the comment is saying is like they don't want to give up any rights, which
no,
I
get
understand.
That.
We get that. We understand that, but that's not realistic, though. You know?
Right. And I agree with that too. But don't forget, cigarettes are harsh, right?
Yes.
And if we make it too smooth, right? Doesn't it make it easier for people to get hooked on potentially more nicotine or kids juuling because they like that head pop? I don't know. So, and I know that's something that Dimitri's talked about too. Like, you know, maybe the throat hit, maybe that harshness is a good thing.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll keep kids away from it.
I had it in my submission to the FDA that the actual throat hit is something that will deter kids. If it's uncomfortable, kids will not gravitate to it. Again, listen, you know, I mean, anything that we say in this, we're going to be from one side or the other side, we're going to be criticized for it. But the truth is, I see Joshua's comment that Joule's pulling out of 5 or 6 countries. They're not pulling out. They're pulling out because simply their product is insufficient. Tune into the Smoker Show next Tuesday night, and I'll tell you, Phil has done a great job updating these slides. He put a lot of work and effort to it. We're going to go back to the basics a little bit, like what can you choose, and it's really broken down. These slides will be available on tasteyourjuice.com. It's just a great reference to have, but we'll go through that as well, too. The Joule power to coil ratio, okay? Hear me out for those of you that are advanced vapors and understand what I'm saying. The Joule resistance to power ratio does not work with anything under 50 milligram.
Right.
It's not designed to work with anything lower than 50 milligram. So if you're going to put 20 milligrams salt in that device, right, and you're going to put 20 milligrams salt in a Zenith tank, I guess people are going to buy the Zenith tank, right? I guarantee, and this is why in Europe, because of the 20 milligrams, our tanks do so well. So that's the difference is what I'm trying to tell you. They're pulling out because their product has no desirability because it does not work. It is not a good product. There's way better pods on the market that you can put 12 milligram freebase and be satisfied, or even 20 milligrams salt and be satisfied. So it just goes to show you that the problem always has been that high nicotine. And by high, I mean in these extreme levels. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to be limited to 10 or 12 milligram. I know that's not sufficient to help people quit smoking. But again, it's not my determination. It has to be scientifically proven of what is that number that can help and that the regulators are happy with and we're happy with as well too.
Yes, what you said.
Joe, the throat hit repels non-smokers and attracts smokers. You're absolutely right. But, you know, when we talk about it, you know, we're the bad guys because we want to sell Zenith tanks. That's the problem that we run into, you know. I think everybody does not understand the concept. It's just, it's hard. I wish we would live in a realistic world where everything would be free for all. Like, all the products would be available. In that world, I guarantee you that the independent vapor industry would thrive better. Because then we compete our products head to head with no regulatory burden, and they can't win. Big tobacco can't win against us in a free for all. That's why they're using laws to eliminate us. We talked about that earlier.
Yep.
But that's not realistic. It's just not happening.
I'm very excited.
You're very excited about what?
My mod, my Minikin. It's finally showing me low battery.
Oh, fantastic.
Which means I can go on to my next. I think I'm going to review this one. There's a few different reasons why I want to review this one, even though it's all I don't give a fuck. But it's finally showing low battery, so I can continue on with my next tests. Do you know how long it takes to kill a device that uses two 18650 batteries when you vape at 11 watts?
Yeah, I do. Actually, I do. Yeah, I'm using the MVP here at 11 watts, so I know exactly.
Oh my God, crash! Oh my God. Wow, that was bad.
Anyway, let me go through these comments really quick, and then we're gonna wrap it up. We're already past 2 hours, and it's.
Go through the comments. Do you know what just fell? Do you know what just fell?
What?
The #1 best-selling watermelon peach.
Oh boy, never gonna let me live it down.
We're working on that. The U.S. vendor for unsalted.
Yes,
we're trying.
The Coronas have slowed down. The product is in Medusa distribution. We just got to get people to pick it up because stuff has been slow.
Do you remember when I said our timing sucks monkey balls? Yeah, well,
yes, absolutely. @vapes.com is where you can get it right now as a retail. It's from Canada though, so there's a little bit wait time. But @vapes.com is where you can pick it up now. And of course, order the Cool Citrus. It's delicious. It's really, really good. All right. What else would I want to say? So next Tuesday night, the Smoker Show. Back to the basics, and hopefully we'll have some time for a DIY. We'll see how it goes. If it doesn't happen this episode,
oh no, we're not gonna be able to do that on that show.
Yeah.
And because DIY, I really want to set up actually a different area because I don't even know if I'd be able to do it in this. I probably could. I could probably break everything out.
Yeah, I put a new swing arm on my desk. That way I can move my microphone that way when I do, because I have like a little DIY section over there. So I'll have another camera going there for the DIY.
I might have to use my my lapel for that.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, I got mine from Dash, and Citrus is the best. Joshua, you're the man. You're the man. Forget the rest, Joshua. You are the man.
Joshua also sent you his PayPal not even like 10 minutes ago. I'm pretty sure.
That is not true. That is not accurate. All right. So, yeah, and then we'll be back with another DP show 2 weeks from tonight. So, with that said, we appreciate everybody tuning in.
By the way, the next DP show, our special guest, Andrew Cuomo. I don't know if you know that. It'd be very interesting.
Grim Green. How about that? We'll invite Grim Green.
But you better ask him right now. Maybe he'll respond.
I need to get in queue. All right. So if you like this video, please give it a like and share it. And it just helps the algorithms of YouTube. And if you like the show, leave us some comments underneath if you're watching this on a replay, and then who knows, maybe you'll see them up here with these wonderful comments that we played today. Having said that, I'm going to turn it over to you, Phil, for some final words.
What would you like me to say? I don't know. Thanks everybody for watching the DP show. Info from both ends. I still don't know which end I am. I'm still not sure.
Opinions from both ends.
Oh, opinions from both ends. Yeah.
I know which end you are. The
I'm
ass.
excited.
You're the ass.
I hope that we do some of these dueling reviews because
I'm very excited about that.
I'll be right about everything.
There are just jerks on the internet.
They really are. But hey, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon. We'll see you back for the Smoker Show. And again, I think we're going to try to start promoting the Smoker Show early because I think there's going to be a lot of really, really good information for smokers. Okay, maybe the last few Smoker Shows we've gotten a little bit away from smokers, but this next show, really, if you have a smoking friend, get them part of this next show because we're going to show you how simple it goes to how confusing it goes. Like when it comes to what you can go out there and buy.
Every available vapor product on the market today.
So so tell your smoking friends and join us because you know why? #SmokersWanted.
Absolutely. Very well said, Phil. Wow.
Thank you.
That was really good. I think you need a haircut, by the way. Something like that.
No, I don't. Are you kidding me?
No, I think you need a haircut.
No.
And you're getting a little gray on the sides. I'm just
on the side? Well,
yeah.
Really?
So,
no, not. This side, yeah.
Yeah, you are. I didn't want to say anything, but I did. My final thoughts are I want to thank Alex Norcia for coming on the show today, and I want to thank Vice for allowing him to come on or giving us the okay for him to come on. The reason why I asked you to follow him on Twitter is to follow him to see. He posts a lot of stories about the vaping industry. They're fair and they're balanced from both sides. And it's extremely important in a time and age where we have zero PR representation, unfortunately, from our federal trade groups and everybody else that's supposedly running the advocacy in this industry. So when we see these articles that do have some good, factual, balanced information, we need to amplify them. We need to get out there and share them. I don't care if they're from Vice or BuzzFeed or some of the smaller outlets that are out there. We can amplify them. And then when we amplify them, the groups themselves, meaning the companies that own these news outlets, see the numbers. They see how many shares it has. They see how many people hit the website. And that triggers them to create more stories on vapor products as well, to positive stories, not just the negative ones that they know they're going to get clickbait on, they're going to get, millions of views on. They need to see the same thing with the positive stories. And people like Alex Norcia are appreciated by me as Dimitri, as just a U.S. citizen and a vapor, of course. So please get out there and support him and support the work that he's doing. And having said that, we will see you again next Tuesday night with a smoker show with me and this fellow over here that has a little gray on that. Turn that side a little bit.
Yeah, that side. That side's pretty bad. This side, not too bad. I got to put more of that Control GX on this side.
You do. That's the best invention ever. All right. See you next week.
Dick. An asshole. Blank screen. There you go.